Oh, okay, we're recording.
Whoa, hot damn. Okay.
The time
It's
is
real.
5:19, and we're all very sleepless in Cameron Hall.
Welcome to the 2023 ChariCast in Cameron Hall.
It's not the ChariCast.
No, it's all going to charity this time. And as stated previously, it is 5:19 a.m. on Saturday the 15th of April.
Yippee.
The event has been going since 4 p.m., so approximately 13 hours.
Yep, 13. Oh.
The rules for this ChariCast theoretically are $5 to get on, and then we can at any point pay a silver coin that isn't a 5-cent piece to get speaking rights for a minute, $1 for speaking rights for 2 minutes, so no one else can talk, $2 for 5 minutes, $10 for 15 minutes. And someone can pay and those prices also apply to paying one person to shut up for that amount of time. We have full mic set up here. I'm John. I'm on this one. We've also got Lorenzo.
Hi.
And for the debut of the cast, the first whatever long, we've got Lewis.
Hello.
Who has arrived about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, you were talking. I nearly butted in when you were talking about how long the event's been going, and I was like, "What are you talking about, John? The event just started. I only just arrived."
And we're also here with James T. Jorb, as he's known,
of ChariCast fame.
Yeah. The first thing I'd like to do, I'm going to put my mic down. The mic stand, only 3 mic stands are really working, so I'm just holding my mic. I'm going to go get something from the fridge.
We're off to a great start.
Okay, so we've just got a vamp to fill the dead air, I guess.
We've got to narrate this. So John is opening the fridge.
Oh, yeah.
John is getting out of the fridge. John is walking back.
Yeah, he's walking back. He's all right. He's picked up.
All right.
No, he hasn't picked up his mic. It was a wild, Okay, there we go.
I've decided that not having the mic was the worst thing when my first idea was grab a drink. I love going and buying imported soft drinks and energy drinks. There's a few stores in the city, like a few convenience stores, a couple on like Murray Street. Mm-hmm. And I always check them out when I'm in the city and get some soft drinks and stuff that I don't see often, and then I save them for special events. So I've already drunk at about 5 p.m.
Oh my god.
So about 12 hours ago, I drunk a Wumpa fruit flavor. Which had about
like from Crash Bandicoot.
Like,
it's a
Crash Bandicoot.
I can see the
limited edition.
Oh, it actually is.
It's Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, limited edition.
What did it taste like?
Wumpa fruit. Also, I think it's apple and mango.
Well, no, yeah, I was. That kind of makes sense.
It's about 300 milligrams of caffeine in it.
Should Wumpa fruit? What should Wumpa fruit taste like?
I think apple and mango makes sense.
It makes a degree of sense.
It's kind of an apple mango. It's like a mango that turns into an apple at the top.
That is sort of true.
I feel like it'd be really, really sweet. Like,
oh, it was.
Absolutely.
It was.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Like,
no tartness at all.
I feel like more peach and mango.
Oh dear.
I was kind of craving peach, but it's not there. Anyway, I knew I was staying over. I woke up at like 6 a.m. So I was like, I'm gonna be on a long haul. I gotta bring one of my other energy drinks from my stash. I've got like at this point I had like 10 drinks just at the back of my dad's fridge because I've just been storing them. So I've got Java Super Coffee here, Loca Mocha flavor, which
that sounds like an awful flavor for an energy drink. I'm not gonna lie,
but I don't know if it's an energy drink. It's got milk in it.
Right. Okay.
I don't think it's a coffee flavored. I think it's branded coffee.
That's way more reasonable.
Which kind of sucks because I thought it would be like some weird or
so
like
it's kind of like those iced coffees that Unigames sell.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try it now.
Yeah,
it's like
coffee flavored is sort of more intriguing to me personally.
It's carbonated.
Yeah, me too.
It sounded carbonated when you opened it, but
there's some bubbles. I did shake it a bit because it said shake gently. Apparently it's 2 times shots of coffee.
This has
140 milligrams of caffeine, which is slightly less than half of the Wumpa fruit.
That sounds about right, though.
I've taken a sniff, and it just smells like coffee.
In fairness, the Wumpa fruit was a larger can.
Yes, true. That was like 437 milliliters to 305. Why are they so specific? Anyway.
Probably American conversions.
Yeah. It's often a holdover
from
imperial unit conversions.
Don't know where this was made.
Actually, there's a difference between U.S. customary and imperial units.
Sorry.
Yes, but not in this specific situation, probably.
Sorry, I just want to read the very cringe, the silly, who cares about cringe? Description of the Java. No foam, extra hot, half calf, no whip, soy latte. Enough of the coffee house BS already. It's time to get out of the line and step up to what's next. Java premium coffee with milk from New Zealand, brewed up with killer flavors, supercharged with super coffee herbal blend. Super coffee herbal blend has capitals on all the words except for blend. Coffee done the way, wide open, with a take no prisoners attitude and the experience and know how to back it up.
Neither Unisfa, Unigames, UCC, the Guild, or UWA is sponsored by. Anyway, I'm not sure about John.
We've devoted a lot of time to these beverages.
We're not sponsored.
I'd like to point out the fact that it says it's going to take no prisoners attitude, so it is saying it will kill you.
All right, so we can't say what the product is.
No prisoners.
Hang on, John, can you please promise me you'll bleep the names of all of the beverage products, because that would just make me so happy. Do you want me? I will donate money right now if you promise me to do that.
Every time we mention a not sponsored.
Okay, yeah. $5
corporate entity. This is why we should get a sponsorship. So anytime we talk about
this just the ones we've mentioned so far? Is it every single time a beverage is mentioned?
Every single
because Lorenzo did just mention.
But if we get a sponsorship, if we get a sponsorship, we can have unlimited in the club room.
Oh, we can have in the club room.
Potentially.
We can have.
I mean, I already
all of this has to get bleeped, John. I'm sorry.
Every company name.
All of it.
Okay.
We're not sponsored, by the way. We're just saying a shit ton of funny things.
I'm going to never say them now because
5:30 in the morning.
Yes, correct. That was the intent of my.
Okay, well, I'm going to actually take a taste of this. I opened it like 30 seconds ago.
While you're doing that, I'm going to correct someone about imperial versus U.S. customary.
No, yeah, there are some subtle differences.
The subtle difference is that U.S. customary is actually a metric unit. It's defined on the it's defined on the metric system.
Sure.
So I've got a review.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
I'm going to start with a story of one day I was going to work and I was quite tired and I was like, I'm going to, treat myself a bit. I'll buy like an ice mocha and I was like, "Oh, what's this? Frappuccino iced mocha. I haven't had this before. I love trying new drinks. I'll try this." And I had it, and it tasted like sugar. Like, it was like, you get, like, the coffee flavor and the chocolate flavor, sure. Mm-hmm. And it didn't taste sweet. It had so much sugar, it literally tasted like raw sugar. And I'm getting that same vibe from this drink I just had of an unnamed brand, Loca Mocha flavor, if anyone's wondering.
It tastes primarily like sugar.
It's like, you get it, you take a sip like I just did, and you get, like, sugar with like a coffee aftertaste.
So it's American coffee.
It's not as strong as the one was like literally raw sugar. This is a little more just very sweet versus raw sugar.
Oh, it's just a latte.
Yeah,
a latte is just predominantly just like milk. Or if it's an Americano, then it's predominantly hot water. And then a few shots of coffee in it.
Imagine drinking coffee.
I usually only drink, like, if I drink a coffee, it's an ice mocha. But I don't really...
A reasonable take.
Yeah. I did buy the iced coffee version of this Switch, because this is the mocha version. I bought the iced coffee version as well, because I'm like, I'll get both, since they're both here. And I'm not looking forward to having that. I think it'll be shit. Yeah.
Understandable.
Vanilla latte, pretty good. I have to censor that. Fuck.
You also have to censor every time you said it, including just now when I said it.
Can I get another $5 for that or something, please?
But you have to censor it really, really poorly.
If I give you
bleep.
Every $10 like gives me a rule to do an editing.
Okay. Look, I'm willing to give you another $5, but if I give you another $5, then it does have to. I will insist that it applies for the whole cast.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was assuming.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
How much for you to add sound effects?
Huh?
We're not doing Discord soundboards. Fuck off.
It's just theoretical. I'm just asking, how much would you cost for you to add sound effects?
What do you mean by sound effects?
Use your most liberal interpretation.
Well, I'm going to add one sound effect of I say yes to this request and it's followed by an explosion sound effect, and then that's every single one.
So, 2013 YouTube videos?
No.
No, I don't.
Do you know
have to remind me.
2014 YouTube?
I wasn't alive in those years.
Vaguely. I vaguely know 2014.
I was an undead zombie watching Minecraft playthroughs.
I've got
So true.
I'm sorry,
So,
John, but can I get $5 change?
Oh yeah, you did give me $10, but you already gave me $5.
That was my last $10 note.
Okay. So, the new Discord soundboard?
No, what?
The Discord has soundboards now.
Oh,
Get with the times.
What do you mean? What is it? A soundboard?
It's a soundboard. So when you're on the voice chat, you can just click on a little button, and then there's more buttons, and they make sounds, and they're very annoying. I want to kill everyone. who's
Yeah.
using
I was going to say. So I've never used this feature, but it does seem deeply cursed and
it's awful.
like
I
a
hate
terrible
it.
user experience.
It's
yeah.
god
cool.
awful.
It's perfectly
It does it-
Discord.
Is there a way to turn it off, like
I think
as an
you
admin or something?
I think you can either turn it off as an admin. You can also just mute it yourself.
It's
Yeah.
like
I
text
see.
to speech. Like you know
Yeah.
how you can put in like /TTS
Oh,
and then
good
it text
god!
to
So
speech.
it is mutable.
You can't mute it, you have to turn the volume to 0.
That's muting.
So
That's
that
what
is
muting
a
is.
subtle distinction, but I appreciate you providing it.
Yeah, it's so, like turn the volume to
There
0.
isn't just like a click little box, easy
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
and it's really well hidden.
Discord. What are you doing? Go back to Howling at the Moon.
Yeah, that
in, like,
does
a summer
also
afternoon or
suggest
whatever.
that does also suggest that it's not like an intended feature as such necessarily, which
No.
also doesn't bode well.
Discord is on.
What sound effects? Let's make some sound effects from the Discord soundboard.
Oh god. What the hell was that?
Fart in it.
It sounded too
I had
like
to not
too
take a
resonant
sip
and
'cause
deep.
I like laughed it out.
I think I don't know. It was probably just an artifact of
Wait,
the mic
hold
or
on.
something.
I want to see if something will pick up.
No.
I don't know what that was.
Poggers.
That's
bet
not
it's
a
something.
that's not a sound effect.
So you
Hold
can
on.
add your own sound effects, I believe.
I thank you, Discord.
Yeah,
I can't
thank you,
wait to add.
every Breaking Bad meme. Every Walter.
Perfect. No, that was great.
It's over.
Yeah,
That's it. We're done.
that's you've adequately summarized all Discord sound effects.
And the reactions to them.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can safely move on.
I think we fixed Discord. Hire us. I really need to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna do
Should we
that.
also?
John,
Yeah,
we just
Bye, John.
surely this should have occurred to you before you started recording.
I was like, I think I should get the ball rolling, and then like I can go.
That's fair.
Should we?
Sorry,
should-
I said I think I should get the ball rolling, and then like I can go, and like you can all maintain. Ash, I'm giving you the mic.
Should we also bleep the word
For, like, 5 minutes.
Discord?
No, because it's not a beverage product.
But it is a private corporation.
Oh, now, yeah, we have identified some ambiguity in what my rule was.
Yeah, but it's not a direct competitor to our glorious saviors.
Oh, that's not true.
That
Pepsi
definitely
tastes
gets
great.
that definitely gets bleeped. Not a grey area.
So now John's gone, we can say whatever we want about them, and they won't realise until editing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fair. Actually, this is important. John's preferred pronouns they them because I actually didn't know that.
Hang on, it's up on the fridge.
That's fair.
To be on the fridge. I can't read it.
I will stand up and read.
Right up.
I believe it's he, him. I just use they, them as like a default.
Dead air.
Yeah, no, that's incredibly reasonable. The fridge claims that they are, in fact, he, him.
Yeah.
With dead air, it's great because we don't actually have.
There's no dead air because
We-
it's all being edited. So it's
We
fine.
also
Yeah.
don't have like a dead air detection system, which if you ever on the radio, especially like one of those young hipster. I don't want to do the voice. Like I'm really tempted.
do the voice.
I don't wanna-
Nice.
Do the voice.
there's like a dead air detection system where if they're off the air, they just like play a song, and they don't actually regularly update it because it's all like tape. It's all analog, and there's always this little game.
Hold on, it's all analog?
Most of it, yeah.
That is
Fun fact.
wild to me.
Most backup systems are analog because they work.
I guess that does sort of make sense.
The idea is, oh shit, all of our digital systems are down.
Yeah, exactly.
We
So
want to
it's-
have something playing.
Yeah, something that what is likely to still be working if all of the digital systems are fucked?
Yeah, like minus maybe like the generator,
Fair enough.
and then it just plays.
I mean,
has like ABBA or whatever.
yeah. If we lose power, presumably the broadcast isn't going to work anymore.
And who's listening at that point?
Exactly. But no.
Oh yeah, we don't have that. It would be funny though. Let's just
I mean,
have.
that is the sort of thing that John can add in post. Though we do keep ascribing more and more work to him the longer this conversation goes on.
What are some other brand names we can say?
Let's figure out all the brand names.
So you
that
got,
John will allow.
you got your.
I want
You're
to
welcome.
say, because now I don't remember exactly what I said before I paid John, but the only honourable thing to do, right, is to go back to the recording of exactly what I said and
Change it.
no changing it. It's like whatever I said, that stands, right? Like that's what the rule is.
I wonder if it'll be honestly really funny if, like, since we're bleeping out company names, mainly like drinks and things, if I just start saying swear words, people won't know the difference.
Oh no! Surely, surely you're leaving swear words in. That's not one of the rules.
Swear words on against our contract.
With who? Which contract?
The contract.
There's a contract.
The contract.
Contract.
What, like the social contract?
The contract.
Generally, the one that
The contract.
separates us from the animals.
The contract.
Okay.
Oh, God, let's not.
I'm hearing a yes to my question.
The contract that has been signed.
Now I feel less confident, James.
Now, are we in a contract that, or are we like ourselves embodiments of a contract, and we're basically saying the contract as the legal, as a legal document, or refer to itself as the document, or this
We are
document?
part of the contract given our blood is on it.
By embodiments of the contract, are you suggesting that we're some sort of like fae?
We're like some sort of literary plot device within the contract.
Right, I understand.
We don't actually exist.
That's probably more reasonable than the thing I said.
The
but
contract, the story of Unisfa.
I think the thing I said is more whimsical and fun.
It is more whimsical and fun.
Where's
but
your
there's no fun
stay
allowed in
whimsical.
Unisfa.
Stay. Sometimes you just ask yourself, "Where's your whimsy? Where's your fucking whimsy?"
Okay, this has reminded me of an argument I sort of got into with Merlin.
Friend of the show.
Indeed.
Not a show.
The friend of all of the shows, surely.
Friend of.
Indeed. If Merlin is a friend of anything, yeah, I think it's fair to say.
No, I just said that to bleep it out.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know. It's going to be bleeped out. But all the same.
Friend of also. And.
Damn, I hate.
Just
I
any
hate
generally,
honestly.
really. As well. But that's mostly for
Well,
the
they didn't
bit,
know
I
what it
think.
was bleeping out, but now you've told them.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of weird things in this podcast that are gonna be taken out wildly out of context.
I forgot why I brought Merlin up.
You were having a conversation with it? James left, by the way. He just fucking got up and left.
Wow. Quick,
He hates...
jump in, Ash, jump in.
Ash is our substitute.
Damn it.
What if I left? What would you do then?
Huh?
What if I left? What would you do then?
Cry. Actually, I wouldn't do everything. Everybody leaves.
Okay.
We'd have to... We could try and get someone else, maybe.
We could try, but like...
It might work.
It always might work. What were you talking to Merlin about?
The distinction between whimsical and zany as words.
I feel like whimsical feels... Zany feels a little more intense to me. Whimsical feels a little more like chill, lighthearted. Like whimsical, I'm going to go skip around a field of like like what are those like plants that you can blow in and they like
Dandelions?
float?
Yeah.
And then they like their things go away. Yeah, dandelions. And zany is like guys are making kind of a crazy experimental weapon.
That makes sense. The context in which this came up is I believe they were a fresher, someone who was new to role playing games. After the Call of Cthulhu one shot, was talking to Merlin about, well, Merlin sort of then roped me into the conversation as well about inquiring about different systems, and we had an extended argument about whether or not paranoia was a whimsical system. It wasn't that extended.
I reckon it's zany.
Precisely, which I do think is fair. I was eventually brought around on the issue. I don't know. Anyway,
I can say I've got a story that I like that I experienced last week, which I like telling, and it does involve more drinks. I think that's just one of the interests of me. I was getting burgers at the best burger place in Perth, according to the people on Perth Burger Hunters, which is Bad Love Burger Co. in Westleydale, Subiaco area. It's pretty good, though I don't know if it's my personal favorite. Anyway, I'm sitting there with my friends, and there are 4 guys on the table next to us. And I realize as I'm just like sitting there that one guy has bought every flavor of energy drink, the new one by like Logan Paul and like KSI and shit. I'm bleeping those.
It's not actually an energy drink.
It's a sports drink.
It's barely that either. It's just a
sugar drink.
It's not. It doesn't have that much sugar.
Drink.
Is it a liquid? It's
a liquid that you can consume that has, in addition, supplementary a shit ton of potassium.
The newest.
What is an energy drink?
It's
a drink that gives you energy.
False.
An energy drink is a carbon. It's basically a carbonated beverage which has a lot of caffeine in it. It's generally quite sweet. But the consumable liquid that was launched,
which may or may not be an energy drink.
Which may or may not be an energy drink.
Only the philosophers know.
They had all 5 flavors, which they're quite hard to come by apparently, or like at least in high demand, at least recently,
in Perth as well.
Whatever,
I would imagine. Sure,
and they were like,
I'd certainly hope
they
so.
had like little plastic cups or whatnot, and they were like pouring a bit into each one and like doing taste testing. Where they like all
like with everyone, like they had a table of guys and they were all.
There
doing
was 4
this.
guys,
right?
And
okay.
like he'd bring out one, pour it into each a cup for each of them, like a little bit, like not the whole bottle, just like a little taste, and then they'd all like taste it at the same time and like talk about it, like they're doing like a wine tasting or some shit, and then like pull out the next bottle and they do it for the same one. It's like, oh, that's like a good flavor. I like that flavor, like that. It was fucking great.
I gotta say, I do kind of respect
jealous.
the shit out of that. Honestly.
Me too. I wish I was them.
As cringe an activity as that is, it's like committing to the bit hard enough. Like, you just gotta respect it, right? Like, yeah.
Respect the hustle.
I was just sitting there with my root beer, which Michael had a friend of the show, Misha Michael, we know on a show, had a taste of, and he was like, "This tastes like toothpaste," and I drank it again. I'm like, "Yeah, it tastes like toothpaste." Anyway, root beer tastes like toothpaste. And it's still pretty good.
Wrong.
Like, true. Have you ever had Ultra Rosa? It's like the pink one, the pink sugar-free one.
That one tastes like toothpaste.
There's a decent chance that I have
like
at
yogurt.
some point, but only like in small quantities. Probably while Mel was consuming it.
Yeah, I was drinking it. This story also involves Merlin, and I was drinking it once, and it was like, that one tastes like yogurt, and then I took another sip of it. I'm like, no, it does taste like yogurt. Now
you were drinking Merlin?
I was drinking the.
Yeah.
It's like 5:40. I don't know how.
Look
So,
at the
hang
alarm.
on.
Current time is.
If we start euphemistically referring to
5:42 a.m.
the brand of energy drinks that shall not be named as
Thanks
like
for future me in the editing booth.
because then do you have to bleep it? No, yeah, probably not.
I might just add a bleep sound effect over us saying it. Like I won't cut the audio. I will just add a bleep as well.
The name of the thing has to be indiscernible.
Yeah,
I would argue.
Sure.
So like the first syllable and then just cut.
You can like
I'll cut every second letter.
I mean, that's way more work for you, dude. So, like, feel free.
It's only $10.
My favorite.
You can't get the letters out. You can get the individual
Yeah, no,
syllables
actually,
out.
that's true. James
is back, so Ash is being evicted.
You've just hit on a subject that I feel deeply passionate about. So strap in, everyone. Your entire way of framing that, John, is part of a very common bias.
I feel like I've said something, and now like a rant YouTuber is like picked up on it, and like 100,000 people are going to harass
actually,
me.
You've committed several thousand fallacies, and you're going to have to prepare the wrath.
No fallacies.
Okay,
just
keep going.
Just you've. It's an example of a very common bias that people display in society of artificially privileging the written form of the language for no reason. Because in fact, you can't bleep letters. You can only bleep consonants and vowels.
What?
Because there are no letters in spoken English.
Okay.
There are only consonants and vowels.
Okay, well...
this does seem like I'm just being a pedantic asshole, admittedly. And on some level, obviously I am doing that. But...
You think you think this is an issue you're passionate about, and you're like, I'm going to use this as a transition.
I mean, it's not really as a I don't know.
You're getting
But
there.
no, seriously, the way that people very frequently, if it's a thing that once you start paying attention to it, you really can't unnotice. Like
Yeah.
if you ask someone to like say, I don't know, when people like try to say a word backward, for instance, they will often implicitly write it backwards and then pronounce the letters in the backward sequence like as though it were a different word in some cases entirely differently to the way that they are pronounced in the... You see what I'm saying? Like they change the
I think when
sounds.
When I said like letters, I was gonna say syllables, but I'm like, no, that's too easy. I'm gonna make it harder for myself and like try and like pick out individual.
That you're right.
Consonants
That would be
slash
harder.
vowels.
See. As an example, what would happen if one of the things that you were bleeping had a dental fricative in it? What would you do then,
What
John?
the fuck? What?
Th or the? Other two, the voiceless and voiced dental fricative. Dental fricatives.
I'd cut the first half.
I mean, that's somewhat reasonable, I suppose. Cut it by 50%.
Cut it by 50%.
If you're
just like our profits.
If you're hard committing
just
to
like
the
our prices at Bunnings
if you're
Warehouse.
hard committing to the letters are real position,
You have to bleep that too.
then that's the only reasonable way to do it. I really, I don't think you should let me like hear the recording of exactly what I said before I paid you, but I do think that you should use the exact wording of my offhand comment. And, like, that's the exact interpretation of what it should be. So maybe it's only energy drinks, maybe it's all companies.
I think it's
Who can say?
But
I also think I shouldn't get to know until the podcast
I'm
is
gonna
released.
fuck around with it. Maybe. I'll bleep, like, one person's name. I'll bleep some things that aren't it, just because for fun.
Just for fun. That's allowed. That wasn't within
James,
the
can I have
parameters.
some... James left to get... and now I've stolen them all. James is taking off his headset. He's going to beat me up. Jackie's entered the room. Jackie,
welcome,
anything
Jackie.
you say we can't hear and will be cut.
I'll repeat anything you say
Yeah.
into the mic for you if you would like, Jackie. Oh, fuck yeah,
This is
Lewis. Quoth Jackie.
Yeah, okay, so...
Jackie repeated the phrase, wait a second, several times.
So...
Jackie has asked what we are talking about.
I hate this. Jackie,
I'm
if you want to
sorry,
be on
I
the
can-
podcast,
I
you
can
can pay
stop.
$5.
I might pop in. I don't have my coins on me.
Jackie has left to acquire coins.
I've gotten rid of her as my plan.
That's not strictly speaking what Jackie said, but it is a reasonable summary of what happened.
You minuted it.
Exactly.
Did audible... What were we talking about? Call me
We were
Oasis
talking-
the
we
way
were-
I'm
we were
writing a
talking
master
about
plan.
the implicit bias of the human of at least.
I feel like we covered that. I feel like we ended it.
I was done.
I'm
I thought you
gonna.
were Lewis.
Can I add to that?
Please, by all means.
I feel like the reason that bias exists, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad bias. Everyone who learns English will be able to learn a written form of it. It doesn't matter if you're blind, if you're deaf, if you're mute, if you can speak and hear somewhat normally. or you're not vision impaired, you can read and write English in the same way. So it's quite natural to think of English as a written form of language, predominantly.
I'm not saying that it's unnatural. I mean, obviously, in some sense, it's natural because people are doing it, right? So, I don't know. I just think it creates a warped sense of how people view things.
Warped, like the tour.
I mean, yeah, that's what a bias is.
Like the Crash Bandicoot game.
So true.
What's everyone's favorite Crash Bandicoot game?
I don't.
It's 3, obviously. If any of you... Also the original, not the remake. If any of you disagree with me, you're wrong, and I will fight you outside.
Are we
I
counting...
don't like any of them because I haven't played them.
That's also a valid
My
take.
opinion depends on if we're including the racing games.
So true. You're right. I've spoken flippantly.
If we're going no racing games, I'm going to say Crash Twinsanity.
I see.
Because it's the only non-racing game I played, and it's kind of a silly, stupid game, which is kind of funny. I watched a speed run out of it, and the speed run was basically explaining that it was like 40% done when they released it, and it's got some really good jokes in it. Jackie's paid $5 and can now join the podcast. Do you want to steal? James, you're not using the mic much. Do you want to give it to Jackie for a bit?
Yeah, Mike.
Can you?
I was going to offer to share, but
we can do that, I guess.
The issue is the headset, but I only have one ear anyway.
Yeah, I mean, James, if you want to, and then Jackie, you want to go.
Hi.
Please don't move the mic too much, as it's.
Yes, that makes sense.
It does it's mostly that it just causes noise.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. My bad. I am a very restless person who fidgets a lot, so I apologize.
How about
in
Crash
advance.
Tag Team Racing, huh?
Is this what you guys were talking about? I wanted to ask my question.
Sure. I was just bringing up Crash games.
In the time in which you were gone, we pivoted to talking about Crash games. Crash Tag Team Racing is...
I really loved it.
That is a position which can be defended.
Okay, I'll take that. I mean, the other one I played was Crash Turbo Kart, which I feel like is a classic.
Which one is that?
It's like a really basic one. I don't know. Crash and the team get abducted by aliens at the start.
Oh, it's Crash Team Racing, the original Crash Team Racing.
No, Crash Nitro Kart.
Right, that's the second one. Yeah. That I forget if that one's the one that is the worst of the racing ones.
It might be. I felt like it was pretty bare bones.
That's fair. Crash Team Racing was excellent though.
Yeah, the explorable open world on that was amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great.
You got this theme park. What else was I going to say about Crash? Go search up some Crash Twinsanity cutscenes, because there's some quite funny ones, just without even context. Jackie, what was your question? You paid $5 to be here.
Yeah, it's true. You did pay $5 to ask your question.
My question was, what are we talking about?
I feel like we've implicitly answered that question. Ostensibly, before we started recording, my intent for buying into this was to talk to John about Burning Wheel, as we've been intending to do for some weeks now.
And was like, "Hey, Merlin, I wanted to learn about Burning Wheel." And Merlin told me to talk to you, and I'm busy right now, but maybe I'll get back to you later today. And then I didn't because I didn't have the time. I didn't have the time, or I don't know. I was doing something.
I forgive you.
And then
all right.
me and Lewis haven't really existed in the same space for any period of time.
No,
for a while.
No, yeah, we have multiple times, very briefly, and every single one of those times.
Yeah.
I was going to say I bring it up, which is strictly true, but that implies that I feel that you're, not pulling your weight in this interaction in some way, which is not the case. Yeah. I'm sure you're acting in good faith, and you. Yeah, no,
I'm just avoiding you,
and you were just as keen to have that conversation as I am. But
I think you're probably more keen than me, to be honest.
That's true. No one has ever been as keen to talk about Burning Wheel as I am all the time.
I know we've moved on. Can I make a joke? I was going to make.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's allowed. It can be
Crash Bandicoot.
It can even be edited back into
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Oh shit! We were actually talking about Crash Bandicoot games.
We were talking about Crash Bandicoot games.
Fuck.
Your joke was not even a joke, Jackie. It was just on topic.
We were talking about?
I thought we were talking about a genre of racing game.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot racing
Yeah,
games.
the-
Which is a genre of racing game.
Platformer.
Okay, it's not a
Yeah.
genre of racing games.
Sorry. Have you ever heard of Mario? You know Mario Kart?
Yeah, the
How-
genre is kart
Like
racer,
the
surely.
movie?
I'm this
Okay,
close.
okay. So that was an actually, successfully
I'm this
executed
close. When are they
version of the
making a
joke you
Mario
went for
Kart
earlier.
movie? Need for Speed
Well,
Mario.
no. I assume the joke was. Fucking got me. I assumed the joke was Mario, like in the movie. Mario, the character from the film,
Yeah,
famously portrayed by Chris Pratt,
Like from the Super Mario Bros.
who
movie.
originated the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous.
Is that
Mario.
a reasonable paraphrase of your joke, Jackie?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Okay, we did it. We
we've stated
explained
that
the
for
joke to the
record.
audience.
Look,
It made it funnier. It made it funnier.
Jackie, some other important context of Lewis has paid me $10 to bleep every single like company or corporation or like product name on this podcast.
That's true.
In editing.
Unless they sponsor. That
Unless-
Jackie, play. All right, look, are we doing D&D discourse on the the fun charity cast now, Jackie? Because I'll do it, but just know that you started this.
I don't want to do this.
I might need to go to
We
the
should
bathroom
talk
again.
about-
You just want to talk about D&D for like
No, Lewis, we should talk about our fun Monster Hearts game.
We could talk about that. That's true.
every.
We should.
Also, please look. I don't know. If I become obnoxious, someone will have to kick me off the mic because I'm not going to. I'm not going to
You paid
notice.
money to be here.
I'm not going to look. It is. I'm bad at figuring such situations out through vibes alone.
Lewis,
But it is deeply important to me that others intervene if I am making everyone else have a bad time.
Lewis, as far as I'm concerned, you're carrying this podcast.
Don't
Okay,
worry, Lewis.
cool.
I've got your back.
All right, thank
No,
you.
you're not. You're like on his right side.
No, I'm behind there.
I'm right behind you.
Boo.
Call Jackie.
I can't really reach
Watchmen.
the Watchman.
The wait.
Man,
Watchmen.
lot of
A lot of men to watch.
long afternoons sitting in this room attempting to read that graphic novel and succeeding, but very slowly. It's difficult to read in a room that is full of your friends who you want to talk to and hang out
Yeah,
with.
that's why I kind of don't study here or try and read.
It blows my mind that anyone does. And furthermore, that anyone succeeds.
So the thing about people studying Unis for uni games and stuff is that the people who study Unis for uni games don't really want to study.
I feel like that's usually true.
It's
At least.
it's either you've spent so much time here that you couldn't imagine like going to other places, so you're like, I'm just going to do all my stuff at uni here, or it's like, I should study, but I don't really want to study, so I'm going to study here.
But like Goz has done like some huge portion of his thesis in uni games.
It's
Like
true. He was like,
it's fucked up.
I can't do it at home at my study. Something in my brain has.
I can only do it in the uni
And I
games
can
club
only
room,
do it in
which
uni
is
games, and I'm like, okay, guys.
yeah, it's a completely
works, it
unhinged take, but like somehow he got there. Like
Unisfa actually used to have a fun little study hour or multiple study hours back when I was first year in 2019. It was fun.
yeah,
It was
I
like
remember
5
that.
PM to some PM.
I
on
remember your first year,
Wednesdays.
Jackie.
I remember my first year too, Lewis. I'm
don't
apparently
remember-
maybe getting old because I keep on making references to it.
Yeah, no,
And
look.
people are like, Jackie, what are you talking
No,
about?
see, this is the funny thing is I think I don't know. Look, maybe I'm in a biased position to be saying this, but personally,
When did you join Cam Hall?
2014.
Oh.
So I'm not like, I don't know. You get to decide how old I am. I don't.
Who's young? Who's old?
No, exactly.
You decide.
I went to like say, so I'm not like that old, and I was like, no, you can't say that because one, it's not really
I
your
think I
position
started
to
high
judge.
school then.
Ugh.
You think you started high school in
I started
2014?
high school,
Is
yeah.
that true, John? That's so
I
upsetting.
Wait. Oh no, Lewis.
Oh no, wait.
No,
19 was year 12, 18 year
2016
11.
In 2016, I was year 10, which means 2014 I was year 8, so that was my first year of high school.
Oh, okay. Wait, no. That makes sense because are you the same age as my sister, or are you younger than my sister?
Same age, I think.
Yeah.
I was 2001.
No, okay, so you're a year younger, actually. No, but
she
that's.
might have been in the first half.
Oh wait, you were in the same school year as my sister then?
Possibly.
Jackie and I went to the same high school, guys.
We did.
High school.
We did.
Yeah.
There's only two other people who have also went to Rosamond that aren't me or Lewis, and it's Gwen and Joshua.
I always forget about Gwen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Patrick, Patrick's in the room and is giving me a look. Do you want to join the podcast? It's $5.
There is an empty mic.
It's $5 for the whole thing. He's pulling out his wallet.
And James, who's already bought in, is sitting next to it without,
James
partaking,
is thinking of like a take.
I thought Lorenzo was coming back.
I don't know if Lorenzo's coming back.
Even
so
if,
you can
regardless
take
of whether or not he's coming back, you're allowed to jump in,
I think Lorenzo's
until such time.
I think Lorenzo is sleepy, is the word.
Give me an hour and I'll be back at it.
James has said, "Give me an hour, and I'll be back at it."
James, you could literally go home and take a nap.
Or James, you could literally just move like a little bit to the left and said what you were saying to the mic.
That is true. I forgot about that.
We learn. I'm reaching out my hand to grab Patrick's money. Something I've done many times.
I feel like there were a number of loose hanging threads earlier
there
in the
was.
conversation.
Welcome to
Ross
podcasting.
Finger. No, fuck.
Ross
fuck.
Moyne, I'm very old.
Ross Moyne, old. Am I the
sorry.
same age as Lewis's sister?
You're
yes,
not.
or
You're younger.
So what? I wasn't even in high school when you joined Cam Hall. I was in year 7 then, because Jackie's 1 year older, or like at least in the because Jackie, you class of 2018 and went to uni in 2019.
Yes.
And I'm class of 2019 went to uni in 2020. So I was in year 7.
You guys are fucking
I was
children.
playing Pokemon
That's
cards.
so
for like
messed
time.
up.
I'm sorry.
It's fucked up.
No, see the thing
How's it
is,
sounding?
That's good.
that sounds great. Yeah,
Try not to move the mic too much. Like if you could, yeah.
it'll just get it back into.
Gary, do you want to
position
join the
for where
podcast?
Yeah.
It's $5. It's $5 to join the podcast for the whole thing.
How's
He also
everyone
wants to buy
feeling
a
on
drink,
this
I think.
fine, magical
Is that a
morning?
drink you're buying? Or is that just one that's already there?
Oh yeah.
Not. Why am I asked? He brought it from UCC.
Oh, I could join UCC again.
Yeah,
and then I would have Wi-Fi.
Okay, good point.
So true.
Also,
you can also get married and then you can get Wi-Fi.
Haha. It's true. You can't legally marry anyone in Australia unless you are a member of UCC.
Sure.
Oh.
It's,
The correlation
right.
between married people and members of UCC. It's a Venn diagram. No, it's a circle, actually. It's a perfect circle.
I don't think.
Well, no, not all members of UCC become married, but all persons
That's
who
true.
become married, who get married in Australia,
It's
definitionally have to be
classic
members
logic.
of UCC.
Only the logic of UCC. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like who
Lewis
shapes the barber?
just signed up to Unisfer before being on the podcast.
Look, I don't know why. Like Lorenzo expressed
Lorenzo, do you want my mic?
objections at
Hi,
this
Lorenzo.
action.
Sorry.
Lorenzo's back.
I've taken your spot. I'm sorry.
But I really don't see. What was I supposed to do?
What were we talking about?
Me joining the club immediately before the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for the $7.
Thanks, Lewis.
You're welcome.
So the time is currently 6:01 a.m.
Oh boy. I sure hope I don't get cut out of the podcast like last time.
What? What happened last time?
So last time, Patrick had several events where he attempted to
I did.
attempted to weasel his way onto the podcast without
I did
paying.
not.
I
paid.
Shh, I'm paying money to shut you up.
You little scamp.
I'm putting 20 cents into the box. You cannot talk for a minute. So Patrick attempted to weasel his way onto the podcast without paying or being on a mic. I've just shown a timer of 1 minute. And I wasn't having it, so a lot of his content just got cut. Not having it.
That is
Impressive.
You gotta
that is
Impressive.
a fair. Patrick has just given John the finger.
That was really good. That with the
John
wind
appears
up,
to be
that was really funny.
going to put more money into the box, perhaps.
That's all right, Lewis. It's you and me time. It's time to talk about Monster Hearts 2.
Okay, so the thing about Monster Hearts 2 is that it's the second edition of Monster Hearts 1.
Sorry, I'm going to pay $2 for Patrick not to speak for 5 minutes while I go to the bathroom.
You seem to need to go to the bathroom a lot, John.
So a coffee of an unnamed energy drink brand I just had, and caffeine does make you urinate more.
I suppose that's
and also,
a significantly
I just tend
more.
to drink a lot of water.
I mean, I feel that that's something I also do. That is a significantly more graphic answer than I think was strictly necessary.
Patrick's giving me like really aggressive.
No,
looks.
I understood that perfectly. Patrick
It's
was
$2.
asking how
Do you
much to
wanna-
pay you to.
To shut up.
Yeah.
It's $2 for 5 minutes. I'm going to the bathroom, so save it till I'm back. Gary, you can have my mic.
That's fair.
Hello. Fuck, I got electrocuted.
Oh dear. No, I fucking heard that actually. That sounded intense.
Gary dies live on the Eunice for podcast. So, Lewis, what were you saying?
I no longer remember.
Monster
I'm going to
Hearts
be
2.
honest. Yes, the thing about Monster Hearts 2 is that it's the second edition of Monster Hearts 1.
Real! So true!
So, do you actually want me to explain Monster Hearts on this podcast that is my first appearance on a Cameron Hall podcast in my long and illustrious career of being a Cameron Hall goblin?
You can explain something else if you like.
I'll explain it. It's fine. The Monster Hearts is a game about where
relationships.
Indeed, about teen relationship romance drama.
It's sort of like if Riverdale was like an RPG.
Yes,
That's sort of the goal.
There's also an entire expansion class for playing as Jughead.
It's true.
It's called the Cerberus. It's I don't know enough about Riverdale to explain why the Cerberus works the way they do or how they work. But yeah, you played various kinds of monsters and you explored toxic relationship dynamics and drama and
Teens.
it's a bit Riverdale, a bit Twilight, it's a bit a lot of things. And yeah, also your monsters and that's kind of the vibe. Also, it's like incredibly gay.
It is.
Yeah. Is that I don't know.
That's a good description.
Did I miss anything? Any key? I feel like that's most of it.
That's most of it. That's if you summarize Monster Hearts down to the core aspects of exploring teen relationship and drama.
It's one of a number of Powered by the Apocalypse systems that have specific mechanics for what happens when your characters have sex with each other.
This is true. But it does also have asexual rules, which I think I could discuss about. I believe they're going the right way. I think by strict definition of asexuality being defined as something like by lack of sexual attraction, that is the most correct way they can do it. The problem is asexual experiences tend to have a lot of in-link conjoined. Of course, if you're asexual, you're going to have a weird funky relationship with sex. You're not going to experience the rest of the stuff the same as allosexual people do.
Yeah.
But by strict definition, this is the one thing that every asexual will have in common.
Well, so
mostly
this.
Sorry, I'm back, and Patrick has paid $2 for me to shut up for 5 minutes. We're sitting next to each other. I call this our get-along couch.
Okay, wait. So I actually think I'm very interested to discuss this subject with you, Jackie. Actually,
I'm sorry, Gary.
Because you're, as am I. I don't know. Please feel free to raise any questions or interjections at any at any time that you desire.
Me and Lewis are currently in Monster Hearts campaign.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because Jackie and I both have a bunch of context here, so having a potential audience surrogate is useful for keeping us comprehensible, maybe.
Step 2 context. Jackie is ace, but
yes, the ordering of those steps either is fine, I suppose. But yes, so yes, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts about this, and I've already just heard some of them, obviously. So the thing that I find weird about the Monster Hearts asexuality rules is, so fundamentally, one of the big things in the game as I said, the game is very gay. One of the ways that it does this is there are a number of how many? Maybe around 5. I don't remember the exact number. Core moves in Monster Hearts, but the 2 really core ones are turn someone on and shut someone down. And the move turn someone on doesn't care about sexual orientation normally, right? There's no being straight or gay in Monster Hearts. If someone rolls to turn someone on against you and their roll succeeds, it worked.
Good job.
You thought you were straight? Nope. Wrong. Like you're
pansexual,
yeah,
bitch.
You are a teen. You don't have a full, complete understanding of your sexuality yet, and turns out you were wrong about it. Maybe and that's like one of the things that is a big theme of the system, right? Is this sort of like coming of age, like figuring out who you are and like what your sexuality is, etc. This is one of the themes of the system, and so I think in most aspects, I think that is good. To me, the fundamental failing of the asexuality rules in Monster Hearts is that they require you to specify in advance what a character's sexuality is, and that sexuality then is like unchanging and unchangeable, and that is like fundamentally sort of not how. It's not how any other sexual orientation works in the system, obviously, and it's sort of not how any sexual orientation is supposed to work in the
real
system.
Life, also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the way that you would want asexuality to be represented in Monster Hearts, hypothetically, would be like to have a dimension of like.
Why'd you bump my mic, John?
To have a dimension of like. There's a way your character can, realize that they are ace, or even potentially realize that they are not ace, regardless of, which one of those they wanted to be / thought they were, and yeah, it's tricky.
And the thing is, it is hard to place a real world thing of attraction, which, by the way, nobody's managed to explain sexual attraction to me. It's fake, actually. That is a hard thing to be like, are you going to explain sexual attraction to me, Lewis? Are you going to try?
No. I'm not going to try and explain it to you, but I am going to try to argue against your claim that it is the strong version of the claim that it is fake.
It's fake.
Because I think regardless of whether or not it is a thing that you are capable of, like, understanding or empathizing with, it, like, demonstrably is, like... If this many other people are convinced that it is real and base decisions they make and behaviours around it, then what would it even mean for that to be fake?
Cringe.
Like, clearly it is something that exists within their minds, if nowhere else, Jackie. Like, how could you possibly deny that?
Get good.
I'd imagine it's the same issue of trying to describe a color to a blind person.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Surely a blind person is forced to accept that color must be real in some sense, right? Like
oh no, actually, all the people who are seeing, they're just making it up.
Well, no, yeah, they are forced
fake,
to either
actually.
accept that color is real, or that almost all sighted people are collectively conspiring to lie to them.
Mic, John.
Okay, well, it's our mic, and I like to
get
say
along mic.
The get along mic. The mute, Patrick's mute is over, and my mute is also now over. And I'd like to declare a peace and an allyship after this war. And as an offering, I'm going to put 5 20-cent coins in the box, and I'm going to mute every single other person who's on the podcast for a minute.
That's so reasonable.
Oh, good.
Jackie and I will continue our conversation about Monster Hearts momentarily.
Can I have this? Yeah, so that includes James, who doesn't even have access to a mic.
I mean, not going to lie, this is an interesting change.
Okay, well, Jackie started the meet. So, Patrick, got a whole minute, just you and me, buddy.
Oh, boy. Let's try to waste this.
Let's sing a song together. I was driving with a girl, saw a dead cat on the side of the road. I was driving with a girl, saw a dead cat On the side of the road, I was driving with a girl. Saw a dead cat. On the side of the road, I was driving with a girl. Saw a dead cat. On the side of the road, I was driving with a girl. Okay, the timer's now done. So that was the song Dead Cat by Teen Suicide. Thank you.
One of my favorites. See, it's just so applicable for so many areas of life.
Lewis left his mic, so I've taken it over.
The symbolism behind the dead cat.
I think so. And also the girl and the driving.
Yeah. Like you don't know where you're going in life.
Yeah, it's
all about driving with a girl, and you find the dead cat, aka unexpected things in life.
Yeah.
On the side of the road.
You just gotta keep going with the people you love.
You just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep driving with your girl, no matter how many dead cats you see.
It's all about love in the end.
I'll be honest. Every single time I hear someone from Unisfa, specifically Unisfa, sing that song, I immediately start tuning it out and forget everything I know.
How many people have you heard? I only know 3 of us who've sung it. Lorenzo, you've sung Dead Cat?
I think it
was Spider.
Was that it?
I've sung... Uncharity means Spider sang it. It was funny. It's like, guys, we're going to do this joint karaoke together, and then we just stand up and we just...
Didn't even know Spider knew the song.
I
don't remember who... There was someone else as well. Multiple people.
This is the first time I've ever heard this song.
It's really?
Yeah.
We didn't have the instrumentals.
I'm very stupid, Gary, and I can
it's not like
things.
It's not like an overly popular song or anything. It's not like some TikTok craze song.
Oh yeah, you know, it's
on the... You went to get an ice cream.
What kind of TikTok
I'm going to give my
dance?
mic back to Lewis because I think he deserves it.
I am kind of curious though. What do you guys think would be the TikTok dance associated with the song?
Actually, he's eating
cat?
an ice cream. So, what did you say?
Well, like what type of TikTok dance would go with the song?
I think Dead Cat would be like people who are really into like scene fashion and like that kind of like 2000s emo and like gothic fashion.
I think it
would like post videos of them like I don't know being really edgy or like girls? Driving with like some really like with some like filters on that are like quite dark, and then that song plays.
I was gonna say something kind of hypnotic, like flossing like a boss, but
what? I don't use the TikTok.
Well, you know, I mean, I always say, you know, if you've never seen it before, if you've never seen this trend before, start it. If you see there's a niche in this world that needs to be filled, fill it. So that's why I believe the first act of the Unisfa TikTok should be doing a dance for the song Dead Cat by Teen Suicide.
Is it flossing? Is that the dance we're going to do?
Yeah, why not?
We're going to floss to Dead Cat by Teen Suicide. And it's fantasy because everyone knows cats are immortal.
So true. That's why Warrior Cats is part of the library. Cats aren't real.
Oh my god, Warrior Cats?
Yeah, that's why they're part of the library.
I just tuned back in.
But you know, as they say, TikTok on the clock, but the party don't stop. No. Don't stop. Make it pop. DJ, blow my speakers.
How much is it to shut someone up?
20 cents.
Cool. I would like to state for the record that John is reading from his phone and does not have these lyrics memorized, and thus is a poser.
Gary, I dropped that money in.
John, you've been silenced.
Yes.
For a minute.
So, Gary, we've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike recently.
Have you guys learned any Mandarin?
Huh?
Have you guys learned any Mandarin?
Oh, from Counter-Strike?
Yeah.
No.
As
much as I knew already, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I know the one swear word, but to be fair, I know the one swear word that everyone knows from, is it PUBG?
Huh.
Back in 2018, when there was a shit ton of...
Holy shit, 2018 was 12 years ago.
No, it wasn't.
That's not true.
I also did Mandarin for a little bit, and...
I'm the only one that can speak for the next for a minute.
Okay. Well...
Is that how it works? If you're still under a mute... Right. Oh, no, I see. I figured it out. Extend my muting appropriately.
I'm confused.
Okay, so what I've done is I made it so only I could speak for a minute, and I was also muted, so no one could speak for about 20 seconds there. and I've got like another 40 seconds of just me. Yeah. So I was driving with a girl, saw a dead cat on the side of the... I was driving with a girl. Is that just... Lewis has passed me a silver coin, and I'm not sure why.
I think you know why.
How long do the rest of us have?
You can all speak.
Poggers.
I was trying to show John that I'd started playing a water sword game on my phone to pass the time.
Yeah, this podcast boring hell. I'm gonna pull out the Family Guy Subway servers.
There's a Family Guy Subway Surfers?
Oh no, I just mean like, you know, those clips on TikTok which are like which have like both of them.
Oh.
Because the whole idea is poor attention span.
We're sharing this mic now.
Yeah, that's the new.
Has anyone here ever played Dota Auto Chess?
No.
Or for that matter, Team Fight Tactics?
Nope.
No.
No, I've never done that.
The only thing I know about Dota is that song.
No, god damn it.
The only thing I know about Dota is that Valve made a collectible card game based on Dota, and it was the single least successful product they have ever produced.
Yeah, Valve really has some
I'm back.
Hits and losses there.
I'm now sitting next to Lewis on our get along couch. I muted everyone, then he muted me. And I'd like to make a truce and alliance, so I'm going to put 2 in the coin so only we can talk for the next minute.
Okay.
Couch hopping.
Does James get to talk?
Couch hopping.
No.
Guys, quick,
He's on the get along couch.
Yeah, okay. 1 minute is nowhere close to long enough to talk about Burning Wheel.
But I can talk about Artifact. I have thoughts about Artifact.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool.
Dota card game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they kind of were like, guys, so digital TCGs, that's a thing, right? Or digital collectible card games, that's a thing, right? That's so cool. Mm-hmm. What if we made a digital collectible card game, but we priced it and monetized it exactly like a trading card game of the only way to get cards is like random packs that you cannot like earn for free. You can only buy them. There's no like getting currency to buy them. And also,
no, you can buy cards directly from other players, I believe.
Yes,
and it also
it's like a Steam marketplace, so you can buy cards.
Yeah.
But there's no way to earn cards without paying money. It's literally you have to pay more money to get more cards.
That was how it worked at launch, I believe.
Yes.
They did add ways to free to play, but the game was already like stillborn at that point. So
apparently the game wasn't even that good. You can all talk now.
That's somewhat disputed, is my understanding, but like, it's sort of a moot point because I don't know what Valve expected to happen because it was their first like game release announcement in God knows how long however long it's been since however long it had been since Portal 2, right?
I feel like they must have announced a game before that. Like
was it 2011?
Artifact.
I legitimately don't know that I don't think they didn't. They did. And if they did, it's not like a lot.
I'm searching up Valve games. I'm going on a list of Valve games on Wikipedia.
CS or Portal. Also, who is Artifact for?
It was for people who played Dota but also want to play a card game.
I sort of disagree. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of inclined to take Valve at their word on what the fuck they were thinking when they made Artifact, because, like, what possible alternative is there, right? And, like, they seem to be wanting to, you know, make a good, interesting, collectible card game to compete in that, you know, digital CCG market.
It looked very interesting.
Yeah, apparently there was, because I was sort of following some of the coverage before it was released, and apparently, because they got loads of like, you know, like they got a bunch of like Magic players and like high-level Hearthstone players and stuff and so on and so forth to like play test the game, and apparently the most common feedback they received was something to the effect of, I really like this, but I think that is because I am weird and I don't know how appealing it'll be to other people in general.
It looked really complicated and with many mechanics or things to think about, which I kind of enjoy. Also, there are 3 games released by Valve between Portal 2 and Artifact. Can we name them all?
What are the 3?
Well, yeah, I'll
Okay,
guess.
we're playing a game.
We're playing a game. This was not one of them. The game I'm doing right now was not one of them.
How many guesses do we get?
You get as many as you want until you get it right.
Portal 2.5.
That seems implausible to me.
Half-Life 2.5.
There definitely wasn't a Half-Life game in there.
The Half-Life 2.5 was released earlier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right. That was Half-Life.
Yeah, that was before Portal 2.
That was Half-Life 2. Episode 1?
Unless it was Half-Life Alyx, but surely that was after.
No, that was after.
Yeah, exactly.
Left 4 Dead 2?
No.
That was Left 4 Dead 2 is really old.
It is.
Yeah,
It's pretty old, but there's a
still going
chance it
strong.
could have been just after Portal 2.
Left 4 Dead 2 was released 2009, and Portal 2 was released 2011.
I'm realizing.
So it's
Time
between
passes.
Portal 2 and Artifact. Valve released 3 games.
In fairness, my original claim wasn't between that Portal 2 and Artifact releasing. It was between Portal 2 and Artifact being announced officially. But in fairness, this is the easier thing.
I don't think they would have announced a game and
Oh, no.
Were they VR games?
It's quite plausible that you're right.
Were they VR games?
Yes, there was one.
There was one VR game.
Yeah,
But only one. Okay.
The Lab.
Huh?
The
Correct.
Yeah, of course.
What are the other 2? That was the
Half-Life.
hard one.
Alex?
Oh,
That was a
really?
hard one.
That was the
Half-Life
that
Alyx
one?
is already.
That was
yeah.
the hard one. The Lab was
Really? That's the hard one?
guess. That was the hard one of the 3
Is this game Valve developed or just published?
developed.
You know what, John? I think we should
CS.
monetize this game.
CSGO.
Raise some
Yeah,
money
CS:GO
for
was
charity.
it was the second one. What was the third one?
Wait, what? CSGO came out after Portal 2?
Yes.
I think the beta might have started when Portal 2 was just new or just before
Portal
it came
2 was released
I guess everyone was playing...
2011, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive was released 2012.
Okay. I'm so fucking old.
out. What's the other
Philip
one?
Lewis.
CS The Lab. Wait, what? When did Artifact come out?
It came out in 2018.
Surely you're not counting when Dota 2 got moved to Source 2.
I'm counting whatever Wikipedia says, and Dota 2 says released on 2013. So yes, I'm counting Dota 2.
Okay, so one of those is bullshit. Let's be real. Another one is The Lab, which
Was a game.
yes,
Fucking barely.
technically, so you know. Oh wait, no.
sorry.
Did Dota 2 release? Did Dota 2 actually just release? Not move to Source.
I think it did. The moving to Source 2 is 2016.
Because I remember when Dota 2 came out.
Oh,
Which
hey,
doesn't
Sunlight.
narrow it down that much, but there's Sunlight's been visible for a little while.
Sunlight,
Would it make more sense if you shared one?
sunrise doesn't last on money.
It'll make sense until the moment Jackie and I start talking about Monster Hearts again.
Can't wait.
Will that day ever come? Find out and tune in.
You could just mute us all again.
I'm not leaving until I get all of my hot takes into the mic.
I'm
Lewis
sorry I had
isn't
to bring
leaving.
up a new hot take.
So Jackie and I swapped spots, so now I have my own mic, and Lewis and I are not sharing because she wasn't using hers as much. So I thought it made more sense, and I've now used every mic and spot in the thing. I've made the full circle.
Right, which was your real goal from the start,
Not
obviously.
really. It just kind of happened. Also,
A happy
Jackie's left me
accident.
an empty juice box as a present. I thought it was
kind.
full when I got here.
Eat
I was
the
like,
box.
oh yes, a juice box for me.
Shaking my head, littering in the Unisfa club room.
Anyway, tell us more about Monster Hearts.
Oh god, fucking.
Oh, fuck
Thank
yeah.
you. Gary, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yes, okay.
I mean, I know nothing about this. I'm new to this, so I'm also interested in hearing it.
Right, so...
The problem I've just solved has just been unsolved.
You
Give me the
can
box,
always
I'll
pay
eat it.
some money to make it go away.
Jackie, yeah, I might pay some money to make my problem go away.
You think I can't vamp about Monster Hearts unassisted for an arbitrarily long period
Lewis.
of time? Please don't mute me instead.
It's heartlessly cruel, but it's all for
Lewis,
charity.
I feel like you're like Cam in that, if certain topics are bringed up, you will just talk forever about
I
them.
mean, who cares?
He's
about
giving me a
You-
bit knowing nod. I've been
Cam-
on enough podcasts with Cam to know
Yeah.
that there are some things where,
You should Cam and I should do a podcast together, and absolutely
And it's
no
12.
one else should be present because they will not be able to speak.
And it's 12 hours long.
Indeed. Longer, even, you know. Someone will have to intervene to stop the recording session.
I think that'd be fun. Liz has entered the room and is assumingly going, but it's delayed the Monster Hearts talk. So, how about Fortnite, eh? So how about the new Fortnite update?
Very bad, and
You played
discourse about it is also bad.
Have you played it?
The reason Fortnite being bad isn't really about the game. It's about what Fortnite represents, and that is it's like a particularly intense distillation of turbo capitalist free to play hell.
Not really. I feel like no. I feel like the thing is, I don't. Explain what you mean by that. I don't know. The take is essentially that Fortnite is less a game and more a cosmetic store with a game growing on it like a tumor. I don't know. I feel like I played the game. The game is pretty good. The game is still pretty. It's pretty fun. It has missions and shit you can do. It's got God, I haven't played it in fucking ages. And but I it's got all these fucking crossovers and shit that I think of it when I was playing it. I think of it almost like a Super Smash Bros. Of PC gaming.
Sorry, John. I just remembered the episode 9 announcement through Fortnite.
It is
somehow
truly...
Palpatine returned
That's what I was thinking about at the back of my head.
It is truly Fortnite is truly the Super Smash Brothers of video games.
It's that, and then it's just like a crossover game now. It's
at least Super Smash Brothers Brawl had a pretty cool story because you had all these characters.
That
in
was
Fortnite. But not about the characters. But
that was probably the strongest aspect of
my comparison is that Super Smash Bros. Is what if we're gonna have a fighting game and people are just gonna play as all these different Nintendo characters from various franchises that would never exist together. And Fortnite is we're gonna do a battle royale and we're just gonna get characters from fucking anime and other video games and real life, and we're just gonna all smash them together and they're gonna be in a battle royale, and it's not gonna make sense, but it's they try and make sense with multiverse shit, but it's just it's that same kind of thing of you're just getting characters from everything, and then just what if we got them to shoot each other instead of what if we got them to punch each other?
I don't know. I see what you're saying,
but I don't think it was less intentional than Super Smash Bros. It's not they did it for money, not because they thought it'd be cool.
I mean, yeah, it is trick. I don't know. Every company ultimately does everything they do for money, but
True.
I do still sort of feel like the vibes are different. I don't know.
Fortnite's creative vision has kind of
Has it ever had one to begin with?
It's a good question.
It did when it was a single player game, which I think they might still be updating. I actually don't know how much they support Save the World, but now Fortnite, it has a new identity. It's grown and evolved through natural selection to be the game where you can play as fucking Ariana Grande and then blow up fucking the Doom guy, and then Geralt comes in and kills you with a sniper rifle before they get destroyed by a giant hammer wielding fucking ninja. And by that I mean Tyler the Blevins, not like a ninja.
And then Dan and Phil came onto the stage with a gay pride flag, and they kissed, and they said "Love wins."
And then Travis Scott's
and
performance
everyone
started.
on the battle bus clapped.
Thank you, bus driver.
Do you think the game was improved by them removing building, or have you actually ever played Fortnite? Because it's not
I
clear
haven't.
at all.
I consider it an achievement that I've never played Fortnite.
I played it a tiny bit when the Battle Royale first came out with my high school friends, 5 years ago, and then when I played it recently, I only played the zero build mode.
And
yeah, I'm not playing it with fucking building. The building sucks ass. It's shit. I only played it, but I would never have played it again if it didn't have zero build mode.
Okay, second question: does Fortnite Ninja Blevins actually still play Fortnite?
No idea. I bet he plays Valorant. I'm gonna search up Ninja.
The sun continues
to rise.
Yeah,
and his name's not Ninja. It's Tyler the Blevins.
A new day beckons.
Indeed.
Well, they're
I'm
distracted.
sorry. You had so many interesting things to talk about, Lewis, and I just decided to talk about Fortnite. I actually feel like I'm wasting your time.
I'm glad that you, have had this moment of self-reflection.
I feel like we've got 3 hours
think about
to hear
what
the
you've
things
done.
you say and like your thoughts about things which are like interesting, and I've just been like Fortnite. I apologize to the audience as well.
It is.
Wait, sorry.
I mean, what we should
don't
we
apologize to the audience before you know what you're sparing them from.
Who we should apologize to is the poor people who are going to edit this later.
I'm not apologizing to John. He knows exactly what he signed up for.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, John, you know exactly what you signed up for. You're going to try to cut me out again, aren't you?
I will apologize to John for other things, but not for the fact that he has to edit this podcast.
I'm paying $1, so only Lewis can speak for 2 minutes.
All right, give me a topic.
Burning Wheel.
Okay,
I mean,
so
I can't give you a topic. I can't speak.
That's true. The thing about Burning Wheel is that it's a very good role-playing game that I like a lot. Hello. No, completely lost my train of thought. Yes, so
Burning Wheel is a very good role-playing game because
it was an extension of me talking. The thing about in lesser role-playing games, they have sort of like tacked on, like here's a little. The classic one example is D&D 5e, which is if you role-play good, the GM will give you inspiration. And it's this very, like, tacked-on, post-hoc, like, role-playing incentive. What does role-playing good mean? It's entirely the discretion of the GM. It's all very arbitrary. In Burning Wheel, the role-playing incentives are the core around which the entire rest of the system is constructed. They are specific and concrete. They're also not purely up to the GM's discretion. They're up to the table consensus, which I think is better usually. That is the main core of what I like about Burning Wheel. The other main thing I like about Burning Wheel is that it has very robust social combat rules. I think anyway, and very like detailed system for. Yeah, how all that stuff works. Would you like to speak, Patrick?
I have no idea whether I'm still allowed to.
I see. Okay.
Nope.
Thank you for adjudicating that. Yeah, I felt like anyway. The main things in Burning Wheel are characters have 3 beliefs, 3 instincts, and some number of traits. And when you act on those things in specific ways, you are given one of 3 different kinds of reward.
Oh yeah. I will say, I have heard from a few friends in online friends on a separate Discord.
Mm-hmm.
They've been playing Burning Wheel together, and so I have learned a little bit about it. About the whole idea where all the characters come together and.
Mm-hmm,
they're very much a part of each other's backstories, which is something I like for a lot of role-playing systems.
Yeah. The classic, like, I don't know, the cliche of D&D, you all just meet in a tavern none of you have ever met prior to now. It's like, yeah, no, in a game like Burning Wheel, Burning Wheel doesn't do this in quite a, as concrete a way as some other systems do, but it is explicit that, like, no, you all already know each other, or, like, you should. And... Yeah, Monster Hearts actually has kind of a similar system, but it has more specific, concrete.
We're back.
Things
We're back to talking about it
for what for what the backstory is, but I can't remember specific examples off the top of my head. No, I'm going to pivot back to Burning Wheel again.
I'm sorry, I had to go out of the room to do something for a little bit. I missed all the Burning Wheel discussion.
It's fine. I was just giving a brief overview with which I assume you were already familiar with.
Really.
Okay.
No, not really.
10-second recap. Let's go.
All right.
I mean, it was... Sorry, I'm using Gary's mic and constantly taking it from him. I mean, it was...
Poor Gary.
It was like 2 minutes. You can just go over it again. Gary, I'm going to give you the mic for like 5 minutes.
Thank you, sir. What do you think about the black, grey, white kind of odd rolling tables that Burning Wheel has?
Yes. It's... it's a design decision for sure. One of the design decisions of all time. I personally quite like it aesthetically. Admittedly, I'm weird. but I ultimately think that, like, in the context of all of the other stuff that is in the system, like, most of which I think pretty manifestly has to be there, or much of which anyway, in order for it to, like, do the things that it's trying to do. I think that the black, grey, the shading of attributes. No, not of attributes. This is a frustrating thing about Burning Wheel. There's actually no general term for skills or stats or attributes, but that's a minor concern. I think that it is interesting and flavorful and evocative, and I don't think that it... Some people find Burning Wheel a little bit excessively convoluted or complex, but I don't think that the shade system significantly contributes to that. So, like, it's less essential than some of the other things, but
it kind of has to exist, or does exist to complement it.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
I think the only thing that's frustrating about it is it takes just a bit to get used to.
There are a lot of things like that in Burning Wheel.
Of the 2 sessions I did of Burning Wheel, pretty much most of them were done just... Oh, wait, no, sorry, you need to do the... No, okay, but you need this black shading and...
Yes, okay. What was the context in which you were playing those 2 sessions, if I may ask? Was it, like, you and a group of people, like, who had just, you know, like, were reading the rules and trying to kind of figure it out from first principles? Or, like, did you have someone who'd played...
No, the DM knew how to run it.
I see,
But also, like, guiding us through the character creation and everything, and it was just a bit arduous.
Yeah, that. It can definitely be like that sometimes. Particularly if yeah, I don't know. Teaching someone, like, taking someone through Burning Wheel character gen from first principles is also, like, a skill, I think, and it's one that I certainly think I've gotten better at over time, and depending on... You know, I don't know. Like, obviously that's not the only factor, but, like, yeah, that can make things feel more arduous.
Sorry, can we rewind? Like, do a record scratch and rewind. What is the premise of Burning Wheel in, like, 20 seconds? Just so I'm, like, up to scratch.
There is. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. My elevator pitch for Burning Wheel is, in lesser role playing games, you have very, like, superficial tacked on incentives for role playing that are not, like, that are usually very post hoc, are usually pretty arbitrary and very, like, just GM discretion. It's usually like you get rewarded when you role play good, whatever the fuck that means. And in Burning Wheel, it's completely the opposite. Those role playing incentives are the core around which the rest of the system is constructed, and, like, that is the fundamental premise. It doesn't have the default, like, setting for core Burning Wheel is a medieval fantasy setting, probably closer, like, sort of closer to original Tolkien than to your generic D&D style fantasy, but in principle, I want to say you can run Burning Wheel in any setting, which is kind of true, but also not. The setting... It has no explicitly detailed setting, but except the setting that is implied by the life paths that exist that you can take in character gen, which is how characters are constructed from a series of life paths that you take.
Burning Empires, which is Burning Wheel in space.
So yes.
Does that translate well?
Does that? What do you mean? Does that translate well?
Well, like.
Is it better than the Star Wars RPG?
No,
that's...
I haven't played the Star Wars RPGs, but no. My question was, like, what's the difference between Burning Wheel and Burning Empires?
Yes, so excuse me. So Burning Empires is a few things. Burning Empires is based on an older edition of Burning Wheel than the current one, first of all. Secondly, so Burning Empires is an adaptation of a series of comic books that Luke Crane liked called The Iron Empires. He seems to really like adapting comics he likes into role-playing games, but anyway...
solid.
Sometimes it works. That's how we got Mouse Guard and therefore Torchbearer.
Oh,
so I'm not mad at it. This guy gets it.
Mouse Guard.
The thing that
Mouse Guard loves you too.
Burning Empires is broadly, it is mostly the same as Burning Wheel, except it has a few additional subsystems added to it and a few, like, kind of legacy things that work the same way they did in older editions. Critically, it has a thing. So there are Burning Wheel has a number of different types of conflict. Off the top of my head, Duel of Wits, Range and Cover, Fight, and I'm pretty sure there's another one that I'm forgetting. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, anyway, that's probably fine.
Yeah, you're right, Gary. You seem like you're starting
I'm
to
trying to
doze
remember
off.
what it was. I can't remember either.
No, it's not there. Anyway.
The systems?
It's possible I'm just imagining it. Anyway, Burning Empires adds at least 2, possibly more. No, I'm pretty sure it's just 2, actually. One for psychic duels, which is cool. And the other one is called the Infection System. I realised there was a preamble that I was supposed to give earlier that I didn't. So the thing about Burning Empires is that every single Burning Empires campaign tells the story of a single planet in the setting that is in the process of... It's a human planet that is being invaded by a species of parasitic brainworm aliens called the Valen. And so the story of every Burning Empires campaign is kind of what happens in that conflict for that planet. Do the Valen take over? Do they, what happens? So the infection mechanics are this sort of like meta conflict system for how that whole macro scale conflict is going. One of the things that is interesting about Burning Empires is that it is explicit in the rules that the GM is trying to win. Which...
Sick. Finally a game for me.
Exactly. A lot of people hear that and are horrified. The GM's actions are quite constrained in ways that prevent them from just, rocks fall, everyone dies, obviously.
They can't just kill off a character.
Or this wouldn't be a game. But yeah. So... You could probably run a modified version of Burning Empires that was just...
I'm back at Jackie's spot.
You just love shifting around between the different mics.
I love making sure all 4 mics get used.
So when you say
by 4
that
people,
it's...
and
it's
we
okay.
don't have...
Once we start talking about asexuality mechanics again, I'll get the seat.
You can get the hot seat back.
Yeah, that seems fair.
So when you're talking about these larger overall things that the GM has got going, I mean, I will say I don't want to say fairly limited. I've played a decent amount of RPGs, but it does remind me of the first thing that pops into my head is a root RPG, which of course is based on a board game where factions move around and things happen. And that happens as you're playing as these vagabonds that wander around and do quests, where it's like one city might be invaded by a different faction. So is there sort of a similar sort of over...
I'm insufficiently familiar with the root RPG specifically to comment on how similar it is to that. It's difficult to... It's not quite like any overarching... any similar mechanic in any game that I've ever played. Other than it... The main difference is that it very much feels like a Burning Wheel conflict system, which is a difficult thing to summarize, but
I
know the vibes of it. I don't know.
Describe Burning Wheel without using the words Burning Wheel or Burning Empire.
The kind of core thing is that there's some set of actions that you can choose from, and the different actions require there are different skills or abilities that or stats that you can use to roll each action. In this, I'm speaking generally about all of the Burning Wheel conflict systems now, and there is some system wherein you essentially write what action you are taking and place them face down, and then simultaneously reveal with your opponent, and then there's an RPS interaction that determines exactly what how that transpires. So the one that I'm I'll use the Duel of Wits as an example because it's the simplest one and the one that I have memorized the best. But so if you for example, if you both script a rebuttal action in Duel of Wits, neither of you says anything. You just go to the next action because you're both just sitting there waiting for the other to say something you can respond to,
really
and then
funny.
the moment passes. But like rebuttal versus point is opposed. For example, is an opposed roll. I think, I'm pretty sure feint, like rebuttal doesn't work. Yeah, feint, like, beats rebuttal. Like, you get to roll and your opponent doesn't if you feint and they rebuttal. But feint loses to point in the same way.
The whole thing, is that how combat works? But it's like there's feint and then there's...
So, because you've played Mouse Guard, correct?
Yeah, that's
yes.
So that's what I was thinking,
in Mouse Guard, there's the four actions.
Yeah.
So that is how all conflicts work in Mouse Guard and in Torchbearer. It is broadly analogous, I would say. The simplest of the Burning Wheel systems is Duel of Wits, and it is substantially more complex than the Mouse Guard Torchbearer conflict system is. There's I don't recall the exact number, but there's certainly more than twice as many distinct actions in Duel of Wits, which is the simplest of the.
Lewis, I would like to, Patrick, if you don't have too much more you want to say, I want to get you to do some more pitch, like selling of Burning Wheel.
Selling Burning Wheel.
In that,
yeah.
I've got okay. Also, it's 6:50 a.m. for the people following at home.
Mm-hmm.
The sun has
like,
risen.
If you
sure
could
has.
you like think of like an RPG scenario, and
Yes.
then like what would it be in like Burning Wheel versus what would it go through in like D&D or something?
The party is
I'm
going
gonna say
through
D&D because that's one.
The party is going through a mountain pass, and there are a bunch of hungry wolves.
Not necessarily that
Lying
one. It
in
doesn't
wait.
have to be combat, but it can also be like role play or multiple things.
There is an example that immediately came to mind, which is based on a sort of published. The idea is that it's a one shot for Burning Wheel, which I don't really think is the optimal way to experience the system, but it's it's an official thing that the Burning Wheel HQ team decided to make, and it's called The Sword. And it's about basically this adventuring party of like a human, like burglar vagabond dude, an elf or half elf bard. I don't remember.
Classic.
I mean, he's like half elf is an elf trait, I believe.
Elfish bard.
He's mostly an elf. A dwarf and a dwarf, a rodent.
Rodent are essentially Skaven, right?
They're roughly human-sized, like humanoid rat people.
Yep.
They're
the rats.
in that
They
way
sneak
they
in
are
that.
like Skaven. They're not like Skaven in terms of their socio-political beliefs.
Can
I
we
would
shorten
say.
it to rat dudes?
Sure, rat dude. Well, rodent is already
Rats.
2 syllables, and
rodent, but like
contains
without the T.
Yeah,
No,
Sneaky
yeah,
night,
yeah.
they're at night,
No,
they're the
it's
rats.
true. It's true. All extremely femme. The rodent.
Is there a big rat that makes all the rules?
In a sense, his name is Asa, and he is their god.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just like Germa.
Just like Germa.
He does not
Germa 985,
physically
shout out to
exist.
you.
Shout out to German.
German does not need a
German.
shout out. Shut the fuck up.
For being God.
But so anyway,
yeah,
the,
Sorry
the
to
analogy.
interrupt.
the sword, yes, is
The sword.
the premise of the sword is
Use it, cut things in it.
this essentially this D&D party, right? This adventuring party has been on this quest to locate this lost sword that's I believe it's like an elven masterwork, like this incredibly valuable, significant sword. And the one shot opens at the end of that quest, where they're in the room with the sword. And these are all pre-gen characters that are made for the one-shot, right? And every single one of them has a belief, one of their beliefs, and I believe it's their first belief in at least most cases, possibly all, that can basically be summarized as, the sword rightfully belongs to me, and here is why.
That's interesting.
Excellent.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's I think that's in some ways a reasonable summary of the kind of game Burning Wheel is, right? Where you open on, you just did all the D&D adventure. now the real conflict happens.
This sounds brilliant. I love this.
My
least favorite part of the D&D adventure is the D&D adventure. My favorite part is when they have to make the moral choice later.
Killing goblins, I sleep. Killing other party members for loot.
Well, it's not about killing other. I don't particularly like. Is there a lot of inner party conflict?
So you can run it. Very much like either end of the spectrum on that. I think it handles PvP conflict, both like, ideological and like physical combat. I think it handles that very well, much better than many systems do.
I think a lot of systems, if your players have an ideological conflict, you're just like, we're just gonna like kind of we'll fight a bit and then we'll sweep it under the rug because we don't want it to affect the campaign.
Yeah, or like a common response in that situation is like, okay, no, you have to like talk it out in character, which is a solution that I personally grade against a little bit at the limit, because at a certain point, that's like saying, okay, we're getting into combat now, guys, so we better, like, get up, get out our swords, and start stabbing each other. Like, we're playing a game here. Yeah, right?
You gotta have some, like, mechanics to support you doing something.
Exactly.
There is a middle ground somewhere.
No. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. That's,
But when you're, like, talking those things out, like, so many games have such structured combats, but when you're actually coming to the role-playing, and, like, the talking,
you're often
it's
completely unsupported, whereas
yes.
Exactly. In Burning Wheel, you have things like the Duel of Wits, where you are sort of like structurally supported in having structurally mechanically supported in having kind of like longer, more detailed, like in character, arguments and disagreements and stuff.
It sounds like I have to try this. I love the kind of role playing and like
I want to try it as well.
Character conflicts and
do you
like
want to join in as well, Gary?
Beliefs and shit. I love that stuff in RPGs. But yeah, like I've played mostly combat focused RPGs in my time.
In my opinion, there's nothing wrong with combat focused RPGs.
No, me neither.
To be clear.
But I'm just saying. I don't know
No,
it's not my thing.
It's all matter of preference.
So exactly. Like and the other thing I think is that people often, I don't know how into D&D discourse I want to get on the mic here, but
Jackie's not in the room. She won't defend you.
It's
the return.
Jackie just
Thalia, OGM.
I just brought. She could sense it that I was about to start D&D discourse. No, but okay.
Discourse.
A thing. The problem I'm about to describe isn't actually inherent to D&D necessarily, but it is like
it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to use D&D as an example.
Look, D&D has. It's sort of cultural hegemony over the genre and the hobby, right? Of tabletop role-playing games.
It's just a very lovely-looking goat.
Undeniably true.
It's a very lovely-looking scapegoat.
And as a result of that, I personally feel like people...
I don't think I'm using the word scapegoat correctly.
I don't either, but I was just going to move past it.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct it for the viewers at home.
That's fair.
Listeners. No one's going to view this, are they?
Someone might.
Someone
could be viewing it right now.
Maybe on the webcams.
I'm looking right at you, Patrick. Leave that pause in, please, John.
I'm going to extend it.
Good. Just feel the electricity in the air.
What was I saying? Yes, people often try to make things that are like primarily combat games. A lot of bad experiences in role-playing games are caused by essentially trying to use a system to do something that it isn't good at, isn't designed to do, and doesn't help you do, and then bad experiences arise.
I think this is why I thought I didn't like RPGs after playing D&D for like 2 years.
That's fair. No, yeah, and I think this is part of why. Look, if Jackie can just shoot me if I go too far here, but
I mean, she has money; she can mute you.
It's true. But this is part of why I feel quite strongly sometimes about some of the discourse that's happened around D&D recently, but these are views I've had for a very long time, that because it has such a sort of hegemony over the genre. It is often people's first experience, and it is not a very neutral experience. It's a very specific, particular experience, and if people don't get what they're looking for there, and then they think, oh, I guess RPGs just aren't for me, when it's like, no, they're like you just the you know, maybe if they'd you know, started with
what would you say the
something else,
experience
they'd have
is?
loved it, right? Like, what would I say the experience?
Yeah,
is?
you said it's a very specific experience. What would you say it is? Hey, welcome to the ChariCast, where you thought you could get away from D&D discourse by listening to sleep-deprived idiots, but no, we're talking about
how much money would I pay to mute some of you from preventing this D&D discourse from happening?
No one's preventing it. I just thought it'd be fun to bring.
I am feeling very charitable.
No,
today.
keep going.
I can
keep
stop
going.
if you want me to stop.
Lewis, I did ask you a question.
That's
and
true.
I
So
do
I have
want-
to. The social contract obligates me to continue.
It's all good.
I will be back. I'll sense when the ace part comes back.
Yeah, well,
That's reasonable.
Wait, I need to say one more thing about D&D. Tieflings are the best part about D&D. No other thing will let me play Tieflings, therefore D&D actually best RPG. Real?
if
no,
only
Jackie,
homebrewing was a thing.
Jackie, why is blue your
lots-
favorite?
Sadly, it
colour?
doesn't
Oh, Jackie's
exist.
gone.
Lots of other. Anyway,
Sadly,
tieflings-
there's no way to modify other RPGs.
That is true.
Only D&D is allowed to be modified.
Only D.
I
No,
love
alright.
the
Jackie's
analogy.
back.
My bad. Actually, my favorite system might be powered by the apocalypse.
I do
That's
love
like
the
saying
analogy
my
that,
favorite.
D&D 5e
That's like saying-
is
Sorry, saying like, saying my favorite system is powered by the apocalypse is like saying my favorite drinks are the ones with milk in them. It's like, do you have any idea how little that narrows it down to? It's like you could be referring to so many things.
It does, but it doesn't, but it also does.
No, I know what you mean. I'm just going to assume she was referring specifically to the original Apocalypse World RPG and no other ones.
I mean, my assumption would have been Monster Hearts if we had to pick one, but that's because that's the one that I
But
know
what
for
is
a fact
D&D
she has
trying to
definitely
achieve?
played. Oh no,
Okay,
Jackie's
think-
also played Masks, obviously.
I do think a good way has been described to me, all the stuff about D&D, is that it's essentially the Skyrim of the role-playing world. Like, you can mod it into 100 different things. I've seen people play Skyrim with, like, you know, Thomas the Tank Engine, but fundamentally to its core,
I wouldn't.
It's like
I
Skyrim
wouldn't
in that
say
it's
it that way.
unplayable in its base state.
so true.
I wouldn't say it like that, but there is definitely something to that take. That, like, you know, there is a deep truth that take is getting at, I think.
And like, you know, just like Skyrim, it requires mods for a lot of things.
That, yeah, perhaps. Like, see, I'm not even sure I necessarily agree with that. My takes on D&D 5e are a little bit complicated and wishy-washy, honestly.
Could we go to what do you think D&D is like? What do you think the purpose of D&D is? What is it achieving, or what kind of type of RPG it is?
Yeah,
That
so yes, we can. 5e specifically, you mean?
Yes, 5e specifically.
Right. So so this is the. I'm gonna have to talk about. You say instead of that, can we talk about this thing? And they're the same.
No, that's
they're
fine.
The same thing.
That's fine. I just thought like
no. Yeah, no. Thank you for making sure that I was back on vaguely on the right subject.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Should I define what I think makes, how I think RPG design works first? Or
Yeah,
no?
sure.
All right.
We're jumping the deep end.
So RPG design, a well-designed RPG is something that has clear design goals in terms of what kinds of scenarios it wants to be playing out, what kinds of themes it wants to explore, what kinds of characters you want to be able to play, what kinds of et cetera, right? It has some set of design goals, and it has things that it is trying to be about, and it reinforces those things through its mechanics, and especially so through the incentives and reward structures of the game. And in a well-designed RPG or a good RPG, all of these mechanics and systems are all aligned in the same direction, right? They're all reinforcing the end design goal. Is the thesis. Now the problem with 5e is that it sort of doesn't have a coherent design goal, except insofar as its design goal is to be a updated modernization / distillation of an idealized memory of 3.5. Now, I think it is reasonably successful at that design goal, in fairness to 5e, but that design goal sort of isn't coherent. Like it's not. That's not a specific thing. It's very vibes based and like kind of frenetic, and
it's like we've updated and modernized this design, but you didn't do it with like a specific kind of
it's like the thing
goal in mind.
Exactly.
In
So
like how it should play
because it could.
Yeah, so it didn't focus on making like a good like dungeon crawler, like a really good dungeon crawler, for example. It didn't like focus on primarily being this like, I don't know, like kind of epic scale, long form, like overland quest, like I don't know, this kind of style that I think quite a lot of D&D campaigns end up following. There's quite a lot of detail in combat. D&D, every edition of D&D that has ever existed has had like overwhelmingly like most of its mechanical detail in how combat works. But it's very much a step away from that area of focus in comparison to 4E. I have often been quoted as flippantly saying 4E is the best edition of D&D because it's the only edition that realizes D&D is a war game and tries to make it a good war game. Tries to make it an interesting war game. And so 5E is sort of like, it still has most of its detail in combat, but it's like very streamlined and I don't know. My experience moving from 4E to 5E was very much like, the thing that everyone was saying was like, oh, combat's so much faster. And I was out here like, yeah, it's faster because it's way less interesting. Like, the
I attack again.
Exactly. Like, anyway.
James, are you watching Subway Surfers?
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Good.
It's basically 5e is Skyrim as to like 3.5 is Morrowind.
Honestly, a little bit. Yeah. No.
So what you're saying is 2.5 is objectively the best?
Guys, how do I...
Absolutely not.
Guys,
I think you'll find I specifically said 4E is objectively the best.
I have opinions about Morrowind.
Lewis,
that's allowed.
I would love to hear you talk about this for ages, but for the purposes of variety on the cast,
we must. Have
I want to say I've never played.
The
thing I'm going to bring up is I've never played Skyrim and I can't.
Oh, you should play Morrowind then.
What do you mean you can't?
As in, like, I loaded up on my PC,
and
the opening cutscene is so buggy and glitchy, I just give up immediately, and I tried modding it to fix it. I spent like 3 hours trying to mod it, and it
immediately
didn't work.
hands go up, and then go back down as he finishes the sentence.
They put their hands up in the air sometimes, saying, "Ayo, try Morrowind."
That is what people generally are trying to, instruct people to do when they.
Is Skyrim like? Does Skyrim hold up at all without mods?
Well,
or any?
Now you've
let me put it this way: like every so often, I return to Steam and I see Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and I'm like, maybe Skyrim does have some good bits still in it. It's been a little while. It's been a couple months, a couple years.
It's been like 3 hours.
I'll download it. And then I go up into it. I play it. And for the first 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, this is actually... Why did I kind of leave this all behind? And then after about 5 or 10 more minutes, I'm like, oh, that's why. And at that point, I uninstall the game. And then it becomes an even longer period of time before I decide to...
4 hours instead of 3.
Voyage. Yeah, like, it used to take me a few hours before I realized... Skyrim fatigue was setting in.
I'm just imagining you, I just like the scenario I've made up in my head, which has no basis in reality, of you, waking up one day playing Skyrim, and then, being in a loop where you play Skyrim, where you install and uninstall Skyrim about 4 times during one day, and just, forget why you didn't do it earlier.
That's something like that has happened to me once before, so maybe what you're receiving is, in fact, a vision of a past me doing that.
Yeah. God, I really need to go to the bathroom again. I'm going to do that.
Have fun.
It happens when you drink Java, super coffee, Mocha Loco.
Yeah, go piss, John.
Ashford, do that.
Vamp. Dead air.
I'm back.
Welcome.
What are we going to talk about now, I guess?
Who knows?
I mean, I can talk for arbitrarily long amounts of time about role-playing games, but
I think we've seen that.
want to give others opportunities to talk about literally anything else.
What about you, Gary? You've kind of been the silent presence in this room so much.
I occasionally ask questions, mainly because I'm a bit tired. I could talk about a lot about Elder Scrolls.
Let's go. I can also talk for a lot about Elder Scrolls. Time to shift the convo to these other two members of the podcast.
Okay, one, have you actually played Morrowind? Because a bunch of people...
Yes.
Okay, you have. Have you played Oblivion?
Yes.
Okay. Do you actually like them more than you do Skyrim?
I do think there are certain aspects of Morrowind that are better than Skyrim. Like, I do think when it comes to certain, like, role-playing aspects, like, one thing I find with Skyrim more often, and I keep finding out about it, it's just so repetitive. Like, a lot of things with the dungeons, they're sort of, like, railroady, and they coast you towards the end, and then there's a convenient exit, which pops you out on top of the mountainside, or somewhere with a fast travel. And that's the other thing. Like, the fast travel means everything's so gamified, and just kind of ruins it for me, while Morrowind, at least, it still kind of has the bit where it's like, oh, I haven't been here before. I have no idea where this will lead. Oh, I traveled around here. Oh, that leads to a new place. It's like I'm not saying it because I've explored Morrowind less, but just more of, it feels to me like a bit more of a contained world, as opposed to here's just a bunch of dungeons that are just passageways through a mountain. Like that's, it's one of the small things, but you know, like, I guess that's the first thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Basically, everywhere leads somewhere different, rather than just the entrance again. I kind of get it. It feels more authentic, I guess, in that regard.
Like, it does feel more like a lived-in world than Skyrim does.
Well, okay, yeah. The thing is, with the dungeons in Skyrim don't really help. Obviously, it's great because it's extremely convenient, and thus the whole streamlined argument. But, like, it does feel a bit... It feels like a video game.
It feels like a roller coaster.
Man's
almost.
back.
Like, it's like, oh, here's the thrill. Oh, there's the drag you're turning down.
Yeah, and then you just get brought back to the
you
start.
You find the dragon wall, and you're back where you left off.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Lewis fucking died.
So many.
Lewis died and came resurrected back as Jackie.
Talking about
so many Skyrim dungeons have like this secret passageway at the end, which leads you right back at the beginning. And every time I'm just thrown off, I'm like, who the hell would have built that thing in the first place?
It was cool the first 4 times I did it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Secret entrance again.
Or if they lead somewhere else or into a different dungeon. That was cool, but no, they do it like once or twice. And then there's Labyrinthian, but that's Labyrinthian. I don't know. Also, removing all the different like skills and abilities.
Oh,
they
yeah,
keep
that's
cutting it
another
down
thing.
in each game.
Like, I do think there was some, like, if I was in charge of making the next Elder Scrolls game after Morrowind, I would simplify it a little bit, because there's some parts of Morrowind that you could trim some of the stuff off of. Like,
Are you saying you'd simplify from Morrowind or from Skyrim?
From Morrowind. I don't think you can simplify, but that is one of my great fears about the next Elder Scrolls game, which as of this day has not come out yet. I sure hope it has not aged well as much as the notes I made.
I like how you say as if this day, like...
In 2014, as the diary entry about Fallout 4 has just been announced. I hope it's good. I hope it does not age as well as that.
I heard Fallout 4 was like pretty decent. Like, it wasn't...
Yeah, but it's not a good like, Fallout game. That's the thing.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I do want the next Elder Scrolls game
I didn't play it, but...
I want the next Elder Scrolls game to be a good Elder Scrolls game, as opposed
Speaking of good Fallout games, do you think Starfield is going to be a rip-off of The Outer Worlds? Or is it going to be like No Man's Sky? Or
I think it's probably going to be a little bit more like
I think it's going to be Outer Worlds. No, nothing's going to be No Man's Sky.
Because it's like the Elder Scrolls. We're dealing with Bethesda's baby here. It's not something like Fallout that they've taken from a different franchise and made into their own. This is something that's going to be new, I guess. Something that Bethesda's making up on their own.
I view Bethesda as like one of those games companies that like Ubisoft, that all their games are kind of fundamentally the same game.
I was about to say
that's true to some degree.
Do you think that Starfield is literally just going to be the creation engine again, but this time in space?
I hope it isn't. But I kind of have the underlying feeling that it is going to be that.
Okay.
Like, I hope Elder Scrolls 6 isn't going to be even more simplified Skyrim. You know what? That's one of my worst fears. The whole idea that it's going to be, oh, you are this sword singing character because it's set in Hammerfell, and that's with the sword singing, the sword saying, the unsay.
So instead of just having
you are the last unsay, and that means you are pushed into this warrior position despite. They might get rid of all the other classes. Sorry, you're just a warrior now. No other ways to roleplay. You have 3 stats.
One of my worst fears is like death and the people I love dying, but I guess that works too. You said that was one of your worst fears.
I mean, not everything wise. I just mean like game wise. In a list of all my greatest fears, I don't think that one's high enough for the side.
Well, if we're talking about game worst fears, my worst fear is that Titanfall 3 never doesn't come to exist. Like, imagine if we never get Titanfall 3. God, I'd cry. I'd be on my deathbed and...
What's Titanfall?
I'd like to pay how much ever all the money I have left.
It's Team Fortress 2 at max.
Oh, okay. Oh no,
I
think
to
I
pay
have heard
all
of this
the money I have left.
I remember
shut these guys up forever.
It's in the Source engine.
It is in a heavily modified. Titanfall 2 is in a heavily modified version of the Source engine.
I remember watching the Good Game review of Titanfall as it came out. Good games. What happened to good games?
What happened to
They're
good games?
Going. Hex is on fucking Instagram. I'm following her.
Bajo streams, I think.
I've met Bajo actually.
Holy shit!
What?
Oh
You've met Aussie video game royalty.
Basically, yeah.
Did you meet Darren?
Darren wasn't there because it's a fucking robot that they have to wheel around.
What did he stand for again?
No.
Okay, wait. I need to search up Darren.
I didn't meet Bajo while he was working at Good Game Spawn
What about
Point.
Goose?
Also,
no, I haven't
Oh
met
my
Goose.
God.
I think Good Game Spawn Point still exists. I think Goose might not.
What I was going to say was that John yelling just then for some reason did the opposite effect and made me really eepy. I just got... John yelled and I felt myself getting sleepy.
Oh yeah, one thing you do not want to do at this hour is blink a little too slow. Because that will make it...
I did that immediately.
That will make it very hard for you to open your eyes again. Yeah, what happened to Good Game? Like those.
I think they are still going in some form or another.
I think it got shut down.
I think there's a podcast made by the ABC that's kind of related to it, that it has ex Good Game people, but Bajo and Hex left, and then basically nobody cared about what happened to it after that. But Goose and Darren were still there, and 2 or 3 other people.
I guess Spawn Point continued on for a little while more.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it kind of went the way of G4 and all those other kind of gaming related stuff.
Darren's
after
got a
the
Twitter
few hosts that everybody liked.
Yeah.
Left.
Darren's got a Twitter. Hasn't posted anything since 2017. What did he post in 2017? It looks like it's a clip from It's Always Sunny.
What?
No, it's not. No, it's just a clip from the show or something.
Oh my God.
I just think that'd be...
I just mixed up.
Holy shit. Charlie
It's
Day?
it's like a Bajo.
Charlie Day, is that you?
Oh no, you're going to talk about the Mario movie now, aren't you?
Charlie Day wouldn't really good as Luigi.
Imagine being the guy who
ran
ran the Darren Good Game Twitter. I'm trying to work out what it stands for. I know. I think Autumn would know. I think we've had this conversation before.
Should we circle back to your Elder Scrolls games? Or?
No.
Or the Mario movie.
You have 2 choices in life. Where do you want to go?
I want to go home. I want to go be the very best. I want Lewis to come back. Where'd Lewis go?
Hello,
That's
Daniel.
not Lewis. Sorry, Daniel.
You're not Lewis. You could never be him. I want to... No one else could ever talk about Burning Wheel for as long.
Did one of you guys give Lewis a student card before he went to go piss?
The door's not locked.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It won't lock.
but we've been told to actually probably lock it when we leave.
What? I thought it literally couldn't.
Yeah, but if you try hard enough, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've tried doing it. I thought it just didn't do anything.
Maybe Lewis is trapped down there.
Well, he hasn't told me.
Did you guys leave Lewis?
Well,
you can't believe you left Lewis like that.
Lewis is a...
You're supposed to be taking care of him.
Lewis got a big, a lot of facial hair. He can survive in the cold.
Worst comes to worst, he'll call UCC.
Also, currently it is 7:17 a.m. The sun is out.
Sun's been up for half an hour.
The bathrooms are now unlocked.
Now.
IGA is going to be open in
the IGA's open. That's cool.
No, not yet, but like soon.
Don't
In
they
like
open
3
at,
hours.
Isn't it a weekend?
Yeah, they do
anyway?
open like really late on the weekends. No.
No. I like having the sun.
James
It
asked if we
reminds
could
me-
close the blind.
It reminds
No.
me that it's daytime, and so that way I am receiving signals with my eyes. That
Yeah,
it
I'm going to
is
see what's
daytime,
happening on
so I should not
Tumblr.
be
I'm going
tired.
to open Tumblr. Let's get some 7:17 a.m. Tumblr. Fool's Gold Loaf. Do you know what Fool's Gold Loaf is? It's like a loaf of bread with peanut butter, bacon, and jam in it.
Oh. You know what that reminds me of?
What did you all... Sorry, what were you saying?
I'm just trying to think. I'll think of it in a moment.
What did you all do on the 13th of April?
Absolutely
A
nothing.
Banging out the tunes.
A special
Banging
day
out the
for
tunes.
everyone.
I think I did
Neil
play my piano a
banging
little
out
bit,
the
so maybe I did.
tunes. Patrick banging out the tunes. Homestuck Day. Some other things that happened
No,
probably.
just
I didn't
Neil.
want to mention Homestuck
No, it's
Day.
just Neil.
It's just...
It's
why
just
can't they be
Neil.
friends? Neil and John.
No. Sorry, John.
Incompatible.
You
Why
can't
do
be
you hate
friends
I
with
I
Neil.
believe their two
Functionally.
worlds are completely incompatible. There is not a crossover where Neil can successfully meet and interact with the inhabitants of the Homestuck
That
universe
absolutely... Neil exists,
without
right?
grave consequences.
No,
for either.
it's Neil is canon in Homestuck. Like if it was happening, if it happened and it happened before April 13th, 2009, it is canon in Homestuck.
Well, like
And guess what? Neil banged out
JFK
tunes
being
April 13th.
assassinated,
Yes, that's
things like
canon
that.
in Homestuck.
What year?
you can't
What-
believe
Neil
can't believe
banged out the
trolls
tunes
did
in April
that.
13th, 2006.
No. What year is Homestuck? The April 13th?
2009.
2009. Everything after that,
Jinx.
not canon.
So
but
when
everything
will
before
we
that is
start
canon.
having freshers who weren't canon in Homestuck?
So true. That's going to be in a couple of years.
God, the panic I just saw flash on Gary's face.
Well, okay. What you're gonna be like
2005 are
18,
the freshers now.
18. So
Yeah, 'cause yeah.
4 more years.
4 more years. We've got one president left.
So yeah, 2027. That's when we'll
Wait,
have.
am I there? 2003, 4, 5. Yeah. Oh no, 2006.
Well, okay.
Wait.
If it's 2009, 18 plus 9
I don't know if I can count.
is 27. So yeah.
What?
So it'd be, it'd
you're not-
it'd be yeah. If you what 2020?
Oh yeah.
2000,
Hi, Josh.
2027. So
we just made an interesting
4
revelation.
years, and then I mean, you don't talk to Josh. He's not on the podcast.
Yeah, true.
Just ignore him.
So this is very one way.
When you pay $5, and say, but yeah, so 2027 is when non-fresher, is when freshers who join will not be counted in Homestuck. Yeah, I'm glad we worked that out. Is Lewis alright?
That's what I was
What if
asking.
he's just
Did
like
you guys leave
taking?
him
What if he's just
downstairs?
using the bathroom for a while,
You guys,
and like
I
we're
think
just
you
like,
guys
no, he's
stuck him
back.
out. Oh, thank God.
Lewis, we locked you out of something.
Missing Lewis.
Among Us.
Isn't lost or anything.
Josh,
just missing.
I thought Josh was about to pay $5 to come on the podcast.
You're
saying
not
Among Us and then
interrupting
leave
much.
and not say anything else.
Lewis, I thought they fucking stuck you down there without a student card.
Jackie, do you want to do a shuffle so Lewis can get back to his original spot? Because Lewis has been he's been like the Rock, in the same spot. Lewis and Patrick have been in the same spot the whole time. So if I move next to Gary and then
haven't
you
been
move
here the whole
here,
time.
I'm only gonna say stuff if there's stuff I can say.
well, we can bring up the ace discussion.
Look, hey, John. I think everyone apart from you has been in the same place this whole time.
I was briefly sitting over there.
Yeah,
were
okay.
you?
I've just been the
that's right.
wild card. I've been the roamer. I've been like the jungler of this. I've been like the jungler.
Jungler?
Yeah, the jungler.
That sounds like a bad Batman villain.
Josh gets it. Gary gets it. I've been the jungler.
I
I've
do
been like
What's a
get it. I want
jungler?
you to stop.
Okay, that suggests maybe I don't want to know the answer
League
to the
of
question.
it's
I
just a
asked.
MOBA reference. It's reference to MOBAs.
I see.
The jungler is the person who like moves between the lanes.
I'm
right?
I need to like temper my usual like sort of mostly like joke exaggerated negative responses to certain things with the fact that like many of you don't know me very well, if at all, and
that's
so
fair.
My phone's run out of power. This sucks.
I think open disdain for MOBAs is still encouraged.
Okay, all right. If that's all right, I'll note that one specifically as being added to the whitelist.
I'm probably mishearing this. Like, are you saying mobile, as in like those little plastic blocks?
Mobile. Yeah, mobile.
Yeah.
It's because I have an accent.
What was the Ace discussion that we brought up and then didn't have and then talked about not having?
We briefly had it.
Was it like about how like nothing changes in Monster Hearts? You have to have a set.
So it's about how. Yeah, exactly. It's about how asexuality is dealt with in the rules of Monster Hearts. A system which has to have rules to deal with asexuality. Basically, I don't think I ever actually explained how it works. It's essentially the two core moves in that system are turn someone on and shut someone down. If you roll to turn on an asexual character, it is treated as though you are shutting them down using the hot stat instead of the cold stat.
Oh, interesting.
I thought it was... I might be incorrect as well. I was trying to get the rules. I thought it was instead of them turning you on, you instead turn it on them and you roll shut them down on them.
The ace person rolls shut them down. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
I might be wrong. I might have to reconsider my ace card.
Jackie, when you want to talk to Mike, do you think you could just like lean rather than pull it closer?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Or yeah,
impossible.
Just it creates a bit more. I mean, you can have it like closer to like in between.
Is
both
this
of you.
too close?
You're fine, dude. You're fine. You're absolutely fine.
Don't check with distance. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm. Oh, they're both googling the rules. Let's
quick. Elder Scrolls discussion.
No, never mind. Jackie's
Elder
playing
Scrolls discussion.
Mobile. Yeah, Elder Scrolls. I've never played it. Why are the scrolls so old? Why don't they make some new scrolls?
They do.
I like cinnamon.
They do make new scrolls
and Vegemite.
Do you know the original story behind Arena?
How it was just called the Elder Scrolls because they needed some mythical artifact?
Yeah, and also because the whole idea of it was supposed to be, you're in charge of a team of fantasy gladiators traveling around from place to place. Did you know about that?
I did know about it. It's not really...
Yeah, that's why it's called Arena. And then, of course, they changed it by saying, well, Tamriel's filled with war. That's why they call it the Arena these days.
War never changes. I become more like Cam every day.
You really do. It's kind of weird. Like, over time, you and Cam are merging into some sort of Cameron Hall.
I don't think he's becoming more like me.
blob.
I don't think he's becoming more like me. I just slowly become the son of like Cam and Merlin more every day.
You should pose for like a family photo, like one of the ones from the 80s where it's like
I've got like a big baby bonnet on.
Well, no, just been like one of the ones where it's like the child is wearing the exact same clothes as one of the adults.
When are you going to start adopting the physical characteristics?
Actually,
I mean, I kind of have Cam's hair and like inability to grow facial hair. Apparently,
even better idea, John. You have to wear jumpers with each other's faces on them.
Are the jumpers screen printed on, or are they
No, I'm thinking more knitted. Like someone's nana had to knit your face onto it. Like.
Oh yeah, sorry. We did in fact find the rule and started having a private discussion off mic. Apologies if that.
You're allowed to have discussions off mic.
We were discussing nothing important.
Who is Mike, and why are we having discussions off him?
Mike, I just say.
See, the thing you got to know about me, Patrick, is that I'm just the gossipiest bitch you've ever met. So, like, if I have an opportunity to talk about someone who's not present, I'm going to take it. I can't back this bit up with anything, so I apologise to the audience.
Spill the goss to everyone forever.
Spills the goss that there is no gossip.
The goss is that Jackie misremembered a rule from a role-playing game. The president of Uni Games, for shame, I expect her resignation to be forthcoming.
Joshua, shut the fuck up.
She also forgot a rule to a board game, literally during this event.
Is this the Codenames thing? Is this the Codenames?
I'm sorry, Jackie. I didn't intend
for shame.
Jackie, would you like to tell us the extra rule in Codenames that you psychologically implanted into?
I'd like to formally apologise and retract my disparaging comments with respect to Madam President Jackie Chan of Uni Games, who has my utmost respect and admiration.
The beginning of public shaming hour.
Thanks. So if have you guys played Codenames? The answer is yes, because it's a great game. Have you played Codenames Pictures? The answer might be less of a yes.
Because it's less of a great game.
There should be yes. No, it should be yes because it's a fucking wonderful game and it's better than Codenames Words. But I think it's better because of how my brain works and how I think more in images more than pictures. Fuck. I think in images more than
You
words.
think of images.
But also I think of the way that Codenames Pictures is designed. I think it's more accessible and more whatever. It's more flexible.
Fair enough.
But anyway, there's one single difference in the rules, but. So you guys
That's just a little bitty difference.
Okay,
It's not a big deal.
How do I bring this up?
You just gotta
use
go
words.
for it.
You just gotta the bullet that's in front of you. You just gotta
eat the frog.
No.
In Codenames Pictures, you have two teams. You win when you guess all of your team's words correctly.
Thank you, Lewis.
Keep talking.
And
Sorry, that's too much.
Yeah, Jack, you need to be a bit closer.
And
to the mic.
apparently that's the end
But
of
you're
the
good
game
now.
in Codenames Words. How I've been playing any Codenames ever since I've been playing Codenames, which is around high school. You step 1, guess all of your correct words. Step 2, once it's your turn, you enter sudden death round, where you have to guess just the assassin, nothing else, and if you get the assassin correctly, you win. If you do not get the assassin, you lose, or you can pass and just give a free turn away to the opponent, I fucking guess. And it's great, because it's like, it's been described to me as 8-ball, 8-pool, fuck. I don't know how pool... I do know how pool works, I played in Yakuza, but apparently this is an extra rule that you add to Codenames Pictures and do not add to Codenames Words. It is not part of the rules of Codenames Words, but I swear it is.
But it is in Codenames Pictures.
It is in Codenames Pictures.
This feels like the
It
Uno
is.
thing of like no one plays Uno the same, and anytime someone's like, oh, do you want to play Uno? I'm like, no, I don't really feel like I'm in the mood for like rules disputes right now. So I just
That's such a reasonable response.
I invented something last time I played Uno. I was like at Patrick's house with some people,
that was in my
and
house.
I just decided, guys, we're gonna play French Uno, which I didn't tell anybody what it was, but
I mean, if you look at the
it
back
ends
of the
up just what French Uno is in my head was just Uno, but like if you can get away with convincing people that something's a rule, it's a rule, right? So, like, I'm just like, yeah, guys, you can just, if you can just do this, that's just part of the rules. And then, like, if everyone's like, okay, I guess I haven't heard that one before. And no one, like, no one argues against it enough or, like, asserts himself enough to, like, stop you doing it. It just happens.
Nobody fucking believed me. My team finished, and I went, okay, now next time, we have to get the assassin. And they went, Jackie, what are you talking about?
I'm imagining there's like crickets and like tumbleweeds.
No,
It's
Ash
just like
has
the
something to
soundboard
say,
on Discord.
apparently.
Ash.
No, Ash, go ahead.
No, Ash hasn't paid $5.
Ash, I'll pay $5 for you. I'll always
Ash has
pay
just been giving
$5
very
for you.
aggressive body language to Jackie.
Actually, speaking of crickets, it's kind of weird, the Discord soundboard.
Speaking of crickets, I think it's kind of like, man, the Ashes, right?
Oh, okay. I guess I'm not paying $5 for Ash. Ash
Sorry,
paid
we're a
$5
bunch of nerds.
herself.
We don't disport.
Can I swear? This bitch. Because Jackie was our team leader. And she also messed up one of our
That was the second game, to be fair.
That was the second game. But Jackie's like, oh, we got all the words. Now it's time to get the assassin. I think it was me, Eva. Who else? I can't remember, but it was 3 of us.
You weren't on my team. It was Cormac, Lara, and another actor.
Oh, yeah, that was when you were on the other team's leader. Yeah. And they're like, oh, you guys got all the words. Time to guess the assassin. And all of us are like, what are you on about? Like, you're on crack. You've been gaslit. Like, we'll shame Jackie for this. It was insane. It was like, Jackie asked Alistair. And Alistair's like, you're crazy. Jackie asked a bunch of committee group chat if this is a rule.
I've been in
Everyone
a bunch.
said no. And Jackie keeps Googling, looking in the rule book to try and find where this rule is. And we're all like, you're insane.
I so vividly remember this being a role somewhere, and I've been playing with this as a role for every single game of Codenames I've played.
I'm so glad we are all very chill, relaxed, and like not very opinionated about board games and also RPGs. I'm glad we like don't let it, we don't think about it too much or let it affect our lives too much.
Gwen did respond. She was like, yeah, no, we play with the 8-ball roll because it makes it better. And I was like, you're right.
I don't feel like it's... I guess.
It's a sudden death round. It's fun.
It's like Nidhogg.
I will say, I do kind of like the sound of it. It does make
Right.
sense for codenames.
Right?
Actually, yeah, it kind of does.
Oh my fucking
Just
god,
pull.
see?
Okay.
I'm not
Just
saying it
pool.
was a rule.
All I'm saying, if I wanted to play pool, I'd go play pool, not Codenames.
It's
No,
different
no, but Codenames is better because that way you get.
I
words
invite
and
you
stuff.
over to my house to play pool, and like you get like where are all the
Oh.
cute pool balls on like the pool table, and I crack out my copy of Codenames.
John, do you have like a tiny ass pool table like in the castle?
No,
remember,
but
like, the
yeah,
tiny-
no, that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
My board gaming table, it's just like a tiny ass pool table that I play Codenames on.
yeah.
That's just like the Unigames table.
It's a pool table for playing Codenames on.
Yeah, so true.
Little known fact, well, now you know. The more you know.
Except don't try to put a ball down. You know, some of the don't take out the drink holders and put balls down there. You'll never get them back.
That's a lie. There are no balls inside the Unigames table.
I never said there were balls.
I'm telling only truth.
There are no balls in
I never
Unigames
said there were balls in there.
brackets tables.
I'm just saying, if you put them down there, you'll never get
They're
them back.
all gone.
A couple people like a week ago or something.
Me on my way to stuff the Unigames table
Don't
full
you
of.
fucking
Guys,
dare.
one of these days we're gonna open up the Unigames thing. It's just gonna be full of fucking ball pit like balls.
Don't you? That's for UCC. Don't
Uh-huh.
you dare.
There's a drain in each of the legs of the table, and it goes through the ground directly and just drops them into the middle of the tab.
I think if we tunnel
Hey,
hard enough,
we could probably do a similar thing if it drops around on EMAS.
What? They're probably gonna love the little balls.
they would. But if we tunnel it hard enough, we can tunnel into UCC, and then we have UCC ball pit, and then we can bring back
The ball pit. The ball pit.
I think we should have Unigames ball pit.
No.
You can fit it in between the couches.
No. We
No,
do
no,
not want a
no.
repeat of Dashcon.
I feel like
Dashcon wasn't that big.
Huh? Yeah, Unigames is probably bigger than Dashcon.
Unigames club room was bigger than the Dashcon ball pit. Not speaking from
No,
personal
I'm just saying
knowledge.
like you could fit the Dashcon ball pit.
Okay, hear me out.
What if we did Cam
Gary,
Holcon?
What if we
did CamCon?
What if
I
we
think I've made a meme about this.
Jackie's expression was close to like physical sickness.
If CamCon isn't a convention devoted to Cameron Locke, I will riot.
No, it absolutely is, by the way. It absolutely is. It is only about Cameron Locke. Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, how do you feel about closing UCC?
How do you feel about
doors and
Cameron
just
Locke
filling it
convention?
With, balls.
This is an active
new-
topic of discussion within UCC.
It is.
Really?
I wasn't making this up. Stampy's also a thing.
Yeah.
It's also just clearly the best way to implement a Cameron Hall ball pit. Like any other attempt to do so would be an
Yeah.
inferior pale imitation.
Well, you'd
that
have
would
to
not
open the
come
door
close.
for Unigames over
Exactly.
here,
We
and
were
that just
exactly.
also
spill
I
it.
think you could use
suggesting
Leisure Room.
that you can use it as a way to slowly raise the floor
Yeah.
level inside of UCC. So eventually you'll just have the desks coming out of the wall and the shelves ending where the drop down into the into UCC from the loft starts. So you're basically just at head level with the loft.
Oh, it's like a conversation pit.
Exactly.
So
anyone
That's
head.
perfect.
And people can fall in and break their legs.
No, they
but-
won't. There's balls.
When people were
It's
when people were kids, did they ever try to get to the bottom of the ball pit / foam block?
yeah,
No.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Terrified.
Actually, no, I don't think I did. I don't know if I did.
I
No,
don't know
I
if I've
feel
ever
like
been
I'd
on
be
a
like
ball
scared
pit.
of drowning.
I made it to
There,
the bottom.
there has never once been anything good at the bottom of a ball pit.
There's comfort in the bottom of a ball pit.
Yeah, that's right. I was at the bottom
Holding
of the
my
ball
breath for you. Sorry, I was singing a song.
I was gonna say something funny to Gary before. Gary, you think you could submit an SPG for UCC ball pit to me?
Yeah, okay.
Sweet. I'll get that. I'll get back to you in about depends on how many business days.
So we've had Cam Hall, and then we've had the SBG for Can Hall. Now I think we should have Cam Ball.
Cam
We
ball.
actually did used to have a ball.
One ball.
We might have been more. I wasn't around when the one I know about. Shut up!
We're gonna need a few more for the pit.
Louis Lewis, you're old.
I sure am old.
How much money? How much money did you shut up? How much money did you shut him up?
No, look, I think we just got to wait this one out. It'd be cruel to take this from him.
He's asphyxiating over there.
Guys, I'm fucking done.
You just set a timer.
I've actually just one ball of shooting games. Just one
Just
ball
one?
that rolls around and no one throws it out. It's just a
Like the
fucking
footballs,
ball.
like
No,
the footballs we had in the fucking.
not a
building for,
football, like a
year.
ball pit ball, like the colourful
my
plastic ball pit balls. There's just one. And it says one.
It's just on Unigames' floor.
It's just on
That's
the
where it goes.
People
You can't
just
put
like
it away.
kick it around, and, like nothing is done about it, and it's just cam ball. And Texas Emerald like try and make the Unigames ball, and it's like we already have one. We already have the ball, and it doesn't have a name or anything. It's just the ball. It's not like Ted or like it's like Jimmy the ball. It's just the ball. It's just a ball, and we don't get any more. There isn't a ball pit. It's just a ball.
John, I really thought you were laughing at the concept of there having only been one Cameron Hall like bowl event.
No,
I
I'm laughing at
realised
the
how much-
concept of there being a singular ball pit ball in like
I
Cameron Hall, and it
realised-
being noticeable enough that like you know about it. You're like, actually, there was one ball.
I realized how much more stupid it is.
I guess we're getting up to that point in our...
I think we should get a second ball. I think they should be friends. And we
No.
can slowly work our way up to a ball pit. Every year we get one more bowl, and then like, at the 50th anniversary, or like the 100th.
I don't think we get up to
you
the 50th anniversary. I think like we'd have to...
Yeah, I mean, like,
So more like...
Unisfa might, but Unigames won't. Unigames
like-
is going under in the next 10
more
years.
like 100th anniversary.
The 50th anniversary of the balls, or the 50th anniversary
The
of the
50th
club?
anniversary of the Unigame Bowl.
The ball.
I think there's a plaque in Unigames for the ball. Actually, I'm going to go and find a singular ball pit ball. I'm going to put it in Unigames. And you have to
Don't you
remove...
fucking
I'm
dare,
gonna
John.
hide it.
Don't you
I'm gonna hide
fucking dare.
You see my gatekeeper application soon, and I promise I won't put anything in the monolith. Teehee for safekeeping. I'm gonna hide it in one of the board games that no one plays. I'm gonna put it in Great Western Trail.
Opens Great Western Trail.
Great Western Trail, because the only person who'll play it is me.
The box top won't close, and I will notice.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. I look at the library. So does my librarian
Jackie,
and my
Jackie,
multiple
interesting.
ex-librarians.
Jackie, why are you looking in the library? You're not the librarian.
Yeah,
I look at the library all the
you
time.
try to cheat on the library with
You're
librarian.
trying to muscle in
What?
on my
Yeah,
on
you're
my
trying.
curve.
That is an awful term.
I know. I'm gonna be using it more
I
often.
think I liked it better when it was just...
I preferred it. Yeah.
I
What about
preferred
the?
it was when... I preferred it when we were Unispa and Unigames
If I
or
hide the
dating.
ball, if I had the one ball in the library, does that become a liability? Liability to your club?
I'll tell you something, John.
I'm not
You're a
going-
liability to this conversation.
I don't have enough money to donate for it, but I would like to formally request that the term Patrick used earlier be censored, please.
I'm not doing that. It needs to be known.
Oh, we
How-
should. Just to
how
be
much
clear, you
money?
are saying you are talking about
How much money, John?
librarian besties.
20.
Aww.
The
I do
people
have a
need to
$20
know.
note, but it's in Unigame.
I conveniently got a $20 note
I
from
think-
the Nidhogg tournament.
I think having that in the
Oh, you
podcast
won
is
that,
more
did you?
valuable than not having in it.
You
I
know,
have to bleep
you
that.
know what? As cursed as the term is, I understand this perspective, and I
Yeah.
don't even necessarily disagree.
Yeah, but I'd like to brag a bit more about how Great Western Trail was a game. I didn't even request for the Unigames library. Someone else requested it. It was bought in a book buy on like the first year or the second year it was here. And I believe I have been the only person, like every time it's been played, it has been me. There's like a little score sheet in it that you can like, to count people's scores, you like write their little names and you like count up each category. And I believe every single one of them has me on it. I'm the only person who's like, well, I'm not the only person to play that game because I have to play it with people, but every time it's been played, it's just been me being like, let's play this game. And it's really fucking good. Great Western Trail's so good.
I
It's
mean-
such a
I
good
believe
Euro
you.
game.
There
It's
are
so
some bits.
fun.
Look, me
Play
and
it.
Ash were probably at this book by meeting where we approved it.
Thank you.
I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah. For the next book buy, I'd like to request one bowl.
No.
Oh, book buy is in like for sponsor crawl.
No.
That is neither a book nor a game.
If you can go into the city and
Hello?
find one
What do
single
you mean a ball isn't a game? Are you just denying all sports, Lewis?
Yes.
No. Sports are games. Most
Sports
of them
are games.
At least
ball
most
does
sports are
not make-
games.
I mean, yeah, but like all
Game
sports are
make-
just a ball.
Okay, side tangent idea. You should get Cam, Jack, and I to do a podcast where we just record the argument we had a few weeks ago that took all evening about what a game is.
If I could like just put like a microphone
You know
on all
what?
of you,
I
that'd be
reckon
great.
somehow it's got into my head that this is pretty much all the old guard do. They just sit around arguing for
No,
12 hours straight
Oh my
about
God,
such.
They play Destiny too.
Even worse.
I'm so
All right,
sorry.
no, okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, this is. Oh no, I'm not. No, don't. I'm not going to tell that story because that'd be the whole
That'd
thing.
be mean.
No, all right. It is important to me that I distance myself from.
Sorry, can I
from
explain
the-
what's going on to the people who've entered the room?
No, banned, forbidden. I'm in charge. Remember.
Okay, so we're recording a podcast. If you want to be on it, pay $5, and then you can also pay money to.
I have no money left.
Okay, that's how it
Sucks
is.
to be you, I guess.
The freshers said they have no money,
Do you
and so
want to
they
be
will
on the
sit and listen.
podcast?
He has a name.
Okay. No, we'll leave it anonymous. It's like a self-insert for the audience.
Yeah, see, like, hello, dear listener, coming in.
Well, like, yeah,
Dear
I mean, if you
listener,
want to
Indeed.
join.
it's rather cold outside.
You do have to spend that on buying into the podcast. If you try to spend it on something else, I want it back.
Quick, get an energy drink. If you sit next to Gary there,
What? Just put them on.
just put the headphones on and talk on the mic.
I
We've
don't
got recruiting
think I can
someone
put
new.
these headphones on.
This is actually just to stop Lewis from roasting me.
So yes, like, is that the sort
So
of
yeah,
thing
like
that guy
Elder
does?
Scroll.
That's the
Hi,
sort
do you
of
want to
thing they do?
introduce yourself?
The sort of thing
This
that
is
I
going
do.
out on
Yeah.
YouTube and stuff, by the way, publicly.
Which
I can cut
thing
you
is
out
the
if you
sort of
don't
thing
want
that
to
I
be on
that
there.
Yeah,
I
like
do?
12-hour
Fine.
debates on
Fine.
what
Sweet.
a game is and
Oh,
things like that.
This is
absolutely.
Angus,
That's
right?
That's
a very
Okay.
yeah. That's
Welcome
the
to
kind
club.
of no. It's weird. I never used to be like that, and then the moment I hit 25, it was all I could think about.
Think about what?
12-hour arguments about what a game is.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm-
Yeah, no, get ready because
I'd argue about like what art is, not like what game is.
I've also
Okay, John,
had
what's up?
arguments about that.
everything there.
That's obviously false.
Yeah, that's obviously false.
No, fuck
Quarks
you.
are not art, John. You don't believe that.
Yeah, but like
The movement
the
of
thing is,
quarks could
everything
be
is a
art.
quark.
It could be, but a quark in
Yeah,
and
but,
of
like-
itself is not art.
Okay, what are you calling art?
Well-
Because that's made up of quarks, and therefore,
Yeah, no, you can't just like
What's
you're,
your
you're, you're, draw-
requirement
you're drawing an
for
equivalence between
Yeah,
a
John,
complex
it's-
macro structure and
it's
its
like-
constituent parts.
Okay.
It's
Are
like
you,
saying
are you,
You know what?
are you the bones in your finger,
you know
John?
what? You know
John.
what? You know what, Lewis?
it's
Quarks
flour
are
a
art.
cake.
No matter what they compose,
It's
they
flour
are
a
art.
cake, John.
Huh?
It's flour a cake.
No.
Well, does
Yeah, but everything's art.
does
And I
calling a
include the-
quark art give any utility to the word art? Like, does it improve the definition in any way?
Fucking nailed it, didn't you? Right? Say exactly.
Yeah.
Including quark in art
Everything's
kind of
art.
devalues.
Makes it a useless
But
word.
if we have everything
What- yeah,
included
art
in
is a useless word.
What is the use of having the word art? If everything is art,
Okay.
then
No,
why
but
do we
that's-
have
that's-
art
that's just
the
if
contention,
it
John. I
is
don't-
everything.
Okay, maybe I should specify. I don't think I've ever
In the
thought about
words
this.
of that
subject.
villain from
I
Incredibles,
think there's an
if everything
important
is
thing
super,
I
no
should
one
make
is.
to my definition of art. Everything could be art.
Okay, that's a little better.
Soft, no, but that's definitely an improvement.
Does art need to have meaning for it to be considered art? I would say for a piece of object to be considered art, it must have some form of deeper meaning or deeper connection imbued into it by the author to exist. no?
Even
Yeah,
if that
yeah,
meaning
I would
is
say-
an attempt to
No,
create
I don't
meaning
think.
where
I
there is
don't.
none.
I don't think. The thing is, I don't think art needs to be intentionally created. Like I think something.
Hard
Can,
disagree.
Okay, I think art can be something that was.
Okay, well,
I
Ben,
think
what
this
was his
is kind
name?
of a conflation between beauty and art.
Maybe.
Okay, so
Maybe
consider.
that could be a fair point
What,
against
what
my
was his
argument.
name? The guy
Consider.
who.
So what is art intentionally created beauty? What is intention then? Like
Consider my 7th drawing of Cherish in the last hour that I drew. Is this art, even though there is no meaning to it other than...
what do you mean? There's meaning. You love
Deeply.
Cherish.
Yeah, there's meaning. You have a love for this character.
Fuck. Oh, I love
And the
something.
repeated
shit.
expression of
Jack,
that
you showed
indicates
weakness.
something.
something that no president
I've
can
been
do.
defeated. That was my only argument.
Yeah, but I still.
Like, okay, when that French guy, forgot his name, you know, the French artist, you know the one I'm talking about,
of course,
the one out of, you know,
No, we all know. You can stop belaboring the point.
The one who, you know, what was it? It was a urinal labeled a fountain.
Right. Yes. Well, that was the title of the piece.
Yeah, but that was the title of the piece.
It was a urinal on
Sorry,
its side.
actually, no. Wait, I want to talk about weird art now. Do you know
would you
who's
call
that
that
fucking
beauty?
guy? That fucking guy who made the fly
Art
artwork?
doesn't have to be beautiful.
Yes.
Art just needs to have a deeper
Oh,
meaning.
no, I agree with that.
Even if the meaning is itself, sometimes that there is no meaning to it.
The meaning of the urinal is a commentary on modern art.
Yeah.
The entire point was expressed by the artist, that it's a commentary on the expression that was expressed earlier, that everything can be art, and was expressing that through satire, essentially.
He just can't miss. He opens his mouth and the truth comes out.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Sorry,
We
need
need
apologies.
to philosophy of art.
we really need
Why did I bring up art
a couple of hours earlier? When we were talking about all sorts of other stuff. We really needed your truth.
I was looking up Damien Hirsch's artwork, so I wasn't fully listening. So the one person you were trying to convince wasn't really fully in it, and I apologize for that.
And as a
I
result,
would like you to repeat it.
Like
many more hours of Discord follow.
I do want to hear it though, but also, can you just say it again? Fuck it, the people at home can. What were you saying about art and beauty and shit?
The purpose of art isn't to be beautiful. The purpose of art is to communicate a message. Art is a medium in which humans communicate, as indicated through cave paintings, indicating, still being art, they communicate a message of what life was like.
Yes.
So the urinal that was being referenced is a satirical commentary of modern art, talking about how a lot of modern art loses its meaning through just basically what you were saying, art being considered as everything, and how doing that leads to basically absurdism, where something as silly as a urinal can be considered a piece of artwork.
What was the banana taped to like a wall supposed to convey?
I think that's just a banana. Someone was just hungry. They left it there as a snack.
Many people argue that a lot of modern art doesn't necessarily fall into the category of art due to its inability to convey meaning.
But that's sort of the point of it, right? Is to kind of increasingly push the boundaries of like, how much of a bad faith actor can I be?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, isn't it?
Like, how far can you take it?
In terms of getting things accepted, and then like at a certain point that movement sort of starts eating its own tail, obviously.
Like would you call German 985 art? I believe I would.
Yeah, I would. It's intentional and it's beautiful. Not that art needs to be beautiful, but I think Germa's streams convey a meaning. Probably.
Shout out to German 985.
Do you know the artwork 1,000 Years by Damien Hirst?
Oh, is that the one that's being built over 1,000 years?
No, it's not. It's do any of you know this artwork? Literally anyone, because I want to like.
Which
so I know this because my cousin like worked for Damien Hirst, like moving artworks and shit around. But it is like two boxes. It's like it's like a big glass rectangle, split into two sections. In one section there is a dead cow's head.
Oh, that one.
And there is like a fucking like fly killer thing in it. And in the other section there's a white box. With holes in the sides that flies like are born in and then leave, and then they fly through the hole between the two sections and die into the bit where the cow's head is, and then die. And then over the time, the thing is exhibited. It just that section slowly fills up with fly corpses. And apparently they had to stop using a real cow's head and they used a fake cow's head, because it smelled too much, and apparently it stinks like shit because it's just a bunch of fly corpses, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one.
Well, if we go back to earlier, while it's not necessarily beautiful, it's definitely trying to convey meaning. It's conveying the meaning of like the cycle of life and time and sort of the
I agree.
pointlessness of existence.
I agree. I just wanted to be like, hey, wasn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
No, but the fact, the thing, it being fucked up is that's what the art was, John.
The
right?
purpose of the art was.
No,
to
I
convey
get
how
that. I wasn't trying to
fucked
say
up
that
life
wasn't
cycle
art.
is.
I'm fully in agreement that it is art. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, I guess what my point, and I'm willing to like not be like, oh guys, everything's art. It's just like I feel like everything can be imbued with some meaning by someone, and therefore it could be art. You know, even if
we all had to make meanings of things. That's how we live life.
Well,
but
that kind of goes back to the definition, because
it needs to be like intentionally made by human hands.
Also,
not necessarily
when we talk
human,
about
perhaps,
artists,
but
well,
do we need to convey the meaning through the creator of the art? Is that who determines the meaning of a piece of art? Or
in my opinion,
viewer
no.
themselves? Because if we take it as because the author, the creator of the art, can have the artist. Sorry, I don't know why I said author. Can have a completely different view of the artwork than the person viewing it. But do we have any right to say this interpretation is correct, or this interpretation is wrong?
I take the view of I take the view of, it's like you can have an intended interpretation or whatnot, or it's like something that it means to that person, but I reckon it's ultimately up to the viewer of the art to determine the meaning, because the meaning is like subjective. So it's like what is the meaning? Like, we can all take different meanings from an art, so it's like, I think the personal meaning of the viewer is more important. Or not necessarily more important, but it's not like less important either. It's like the artist takes something from the artwork they've created, and so does the viewer, and those can be different, and it's fine, and neither is better than the other. Lewis, what were you saying? You seem very excited.
You covered some of it, definitely. Like, obviously, there are a few things. So one is, I don't necessarily think that, like, death of the author is... I don't think that's necessarily mutually incompatible with the supposition that art requires intentional creation in order to be considered art. Like, you could believe both that art must be intentionally created, but also that the author's interpretation of what it means is kind of like completely meaningless, even in the face of the interpretation of those viewing it. It's a bit of a weird combination of takes, but
no, I kind of get what you mean.
I do think it's like logically valid.
Question: when someone, oh, sorry, keep going.
No, you go.
No, I was kind of going on a tangent.
It's too. I don't know. You might as well go now, because I've already lost my train of thought.
Sorry, I apologize. So my thinking was, if someone makes art, right? Does something that is art need to be made with the intention of I'm making art, or can it just be I'm like my always thought goes to like actually it's a bit grim. But like, it's like a corpse. Can that be art?
That is a weird example.
That is a choice.
I mean,
I don't know. That's just one I'm morbidly curious about.
I know. In the news recently, there was.
Yeah, I think I've thought of Jin League of Legends too much. Who is a person who's like, I'm killing people, and that's my art. The way they die is an art, and I feel like it's pretty ridiculous for me to be like thinking so much about a fucking like video game character, but like it makes me genuinely question art philosophically, which I think is stupid, but like it happened. Is murder a valid art? Like, obviously not morally valid, but is it art?
I see no reason why, in principle, it couldn't be.
Okay.
Yeah. I would like to formally state for the record that I do not endorse murder.
I do not
if John
endorse murder
doesn't
either.
include this in the podcast, I'll be upset with him.
For any potential future legal authorities, these comments were made in jest, and they do not represent any.
No, they're made
intentions.
seriously, but we just don't think murder's all right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
like, we just
100%...
don't like murder.
Not all practices of art are acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. Not all practices of art are acceptable. Also, it's purely a thought experiment. We're not like, guys, I'm going to murder someone. Is this art? No, we're not doing that.
Going back to this idea of...
God, I love that we're talking about this.
Of the author being needed to... Intention of the artist being needed to classify something as art. it's interesting to take this idea and expand it as well, not only to more gruesome acts, but also to current modern problems. For example, AI art. Can we consider AI art if we have the definition of art as something that conveys meaning and value, when AI, I say in inverted commas because it's not really AI, it's just a pattern recognition algorithm. Yes.
Jackie says it's what we are, to be fair. Jackie, please, the mics.
I would contend that human minds have other things in them than just pattern recognition algorithms, but just one or two other things, perhaps.
I would say...
He talked about how it needs intention, but AI in its current form does not have the intention to convey meaning.
No, but like
so
someone has to
art?
put the prompt in for the AI, and thus that there's meaning there. Because I think AI in quotation, the pattern analysis right now, it's a tool for making art. It's like a paintbrush, except it's a incredibly simple and easy to use paintbrush, which requires far less skill to make something. But it is still a tool. Like, you still need to put in an input in this case instead of like a hand movement. It's like typing something.
You seem to be describing it more akin to a paintbrush, when really I think it has all the subtlety and grace of a sledgehammer.
Well, yeah, but like sledgehammer can be used to make art, and I'm saying like a pattern analysis, right? It's a tool to make art.
Okay, but
and it's just an incredibly simple tool, and one which reduces a lot of the skill that we typically associate with art, but it still requires some sort of human input, which to then generate the art, which thus still has the human intention.
If I ask Jackie to paint me a picture of my character, is that art mine or is it Jackie's?
It's Jackie's.
So if I ask an AI to make art, is that my art or is it the AI's?
It's your art, because the AI is a pattern analysis tool.
Is Jackie
it's not a person.
Pattern analysis tool?
No, Jackie's a person. Are you claiming you're claiming there is that it is like comparable for this like advanced like pattern analysis tool versus a human?
Okay.
Well, at what point are we?
Okay, but
we have to define human now. Okay, and it's like, how advanced does something need to be before it is human?
No, we don't, because the monkey that took that photo of itself, that legally belongs to the monkey. Okay, but also, does the ownership of that art belong to the monkey?
It definitely doesn't belong to the monkey. That's not a legal grey area.
Okay. Wait, what was it like?
It's that the image has no author.
Okay.
Because
the
the monkey is not a person.
That's basically
that
the
would be
monkey
way
winning.
funnier, obviously.
That's
but no.
basically...
Sadly, the monkey does not have legal personhood, and as such cannot be the author of the image.
But
clearly, any situation which a monkey owns something is funny.
Okay.
Like, that's a rule.
All right.
Sorry, Gary.
The ownership of the art, okay, debatably, maybe should belong to the person who the camera belonged to, who they gave the monkey the camera. Not clear. But
I agree, it has no author. If you leave a camera...
we're edging dangerously close to some very hot takes.
If you leave a camera in like a forest, and you wait...
And if nobody hears
if nobody hears a Jackie, did she really make a contribution to the podcast?
I've made like 3 really good bits, but I've been just out of range.
So if you leave a camera if you drop your camera in a forest, and then accidentally a rock falls and hits the button to take a picture, is that your photo, or is it no one's photo? Alternatively, if you specifically leave a camera in a forest with the intention of something eventually accidentally hitting the button, does that then belong to you?
This is exactly what the situation was with the monkey photo, and I believe the answer that was arrived at is the image has no author.
Was it someone intentionally giving a monkey, being like, I hope this monkey takes a photo?
I believe so, yes.
Well, then it should probably be
yes,
the person who gave the monkey.
I assume the guy argued that in court.
But also, there's no way to prove, I definitely wanted that monkey to take that photo. Why does he want the monkey photo so bad?
Monkeys are funny.
True.
As Garth Marenghi said in Dark Place, they were put on Earth by God to entertain us.
That's such a fucked take.
That is a statement that does exist.
I need to let you know that Garth Marenghi is a fictional character. He's supposed to be like a pretty weird and kind of bad person.
Okay, that's good. That works. Then.
He's like, I'm one of the only people you meet who've written more books than I've read. The other being James. James, you ever defended feudalism much this podcast? Do you want to come in and have hot political takes, which you don't?
I so want to have an argument with someone about feudalism.
I could very easily have an argument about feudalism.
I have such an appetite for arguments about feudalism at
Can we
all
please
times,
have
and
an
they are so
argument
rarely
about
cited.
feudalism?
My brain, in terms of history knowledge, is currently filled with current debates about the British Empire, aka ornamentalism. Is it valid? Okay, I guess we'll share this one.
But before we change topic, I just want to drop this into the middle of the podcast and let the conversation
at
continue
8:03
so I
morning.
can leave. The Super Mario movie that was just released is actually based on the B plot from Hamilton.
I'm gonna.
What?
Jackie reaction.
No fucking way that Trevor's Alistair would have said something.
I'm gonna interpret.
I know that
Jackie, don't worry.
Run out of the room.
Don't worry. I'm editing the podcast. I'm just gonna make it so. Josh says, just for reference, the Super Mario movie was based. And that's it. That's it. That's all he's gonna say. Cutting this all this out now.
You have to keep Jackie's reaction to that, though.
You have to leave. You have to leave you saying that that's what you're going to edit it to, but not leave the original. So they don't know what it's. They know something happened, but not what the original quote was.
What we need to do is create a lingering sense of mystery and dread by editing things.
As listeners know, I actually haven't edited at all.
Change it.
That's
now.
fucking effort.
Just
I'm already
come up with
censoring
another-
every time I say.
What about?
The price that was named was $20, and frankly, I'm not paying that.
The price is not right.
Not least because I don't have any cash left on me. Alas.
Lewis has used all his money to spite energy drink companies, and
I do it again.
Let's point out that there's an obvious better one, which is just Libesty, which makes more sense because it's more bestie. It's clearly not the best option there for a reason I will not say.
James, that I do not have.
Presumably,
James,
that is
who
on
has
purpose.
breasts and also lies.
But consider, we are librarians, not librarians.
No, but okay, I can't.
So, Patrick is the librarian
the word you're
of
going
Unisfar.
for is a portmanteau of the word library and bestie.
Librarian and bestie.
You already have two B's right there. Why are you putting LIBR plus ESTIE instead of LIB plus carrying on from the B ESTIE?
Yes. Angus, so the thing is...
Just fucking...
Can I just explain the context?
Sure,
Patrick's the Unisfar librarian, and he was talking about his good friend David, who's the Unigames librarian, and he described them as... Anyway, Lewis, continue.
Why would you say that?
I just wanted to express my
We're
appreciation.
figuring that out.
I just wanted to express my appreciation to Jackie for doing the thing that I wanted to do in just engaging the statement at face value, literally, as though it were not made in bad faith, like I was, too exasperated and too low on emotional energy to do myself.
I think a better term would be libsties or brabbies.
No, I'm not a big fan.
All discussion about this stops now. I've just paid $20 fucking. Shut the fuck up.
We cannot. Do you want me to retroactively censor that word?
No. Stop now.
What do you want me to censor that word?
Censor specifically. All of the other ones.
Which word?
Leave them.
So
do we censor the entire word or just the end part?
Gary has given $20 so that the word will be censored for the entirety of this podcast, including and we can't talk about it anymore. So that includes all the past and all the future. So you don't know what word we're talking about.
Okay, so
That's actually
the
gonna be very
asexuality
funky.
rules in Monster Hearts, right?
And I guess we'll end it here.
That's fair. Oh, right, of course.
That's all we have time for this
Jackie
week.
needs a mic.
Yeah, that's it. You know, we discussed a bunch of things. We talked about art. We talked about.
I feel like these jokes are way less funny since it's just going to be blank.
It's true.
I mean, it gives a sense of mystery, doesn't it?
What was being said? That was so.
that was so offensive.
The word we just said it.
No. Yes. So the asexuality rules in Monster Hearts. One of the issues I have with
what
them
if you're
is
a monster
that,
and you don't want to fuck?
Yeah, well, it's the only sexual orientation that is like
Have
set
you not
in
played
stone
Monster
and
Prom?
isn't changeable, which is sort of inconsistent with the rest of the design philosophy of the system, which I think is a failing, personally. The other thing I don't kind of love about it is that it's sort of inherently, and this isn't like necessarily entirely unreasonable, but it sort of implicitly suggests that 100% of ace people are like inherently deeply uncomfortable whenever anyone is attracted to them, like or like whenever anyone is like engaging with them in that way, and like obviously being uncomfortable in like sort of sexual situations and like romantic situations in the like teen drama context that Monster Hearts is exploring. Obviously being uncomfortable in that situation and situations like that is a part of like the ace experience.
Yeah.
I presume I am speaking from
like I said,
not from
I think
personal
about
experience.
2
but-
hours ago, before I think I said something about I said sexual attraction is fake, and then we got on other stuff.
Indeed.
But I had said that what I had thought the rules was that if somebody tried to roll to turn you on, you instead turn it back on them, and you rolled to shut them down instead, rather than having them turn you on. Which I thought was a good interpretation of, well, you are asexual. The one thing that all asexuals will at least experience in some capacity is the lack of sexual attraction. Therefore, the role for somebody to turn you on does not work, and you instead shut them down automatically. Which was my interpretation of the rules, which I thought made sense. I thought it was a very niche of like, well, obviously, a lot of it, like, a very common asexual experience would probably be like, you know how sex or relationship, you are asexual, you probably have a bit of a funky relationship with sex and sexual and like just relationships and attraction in general. And as a consequence, many asexuals will have a common experience of us probably being sex repulsed or having funky relationship. But that is not necessarily true for all asexuals.
Exactly, and the way that the rule actually works as written kind of makes that true, which is probably isn't ideal.
What I think the rule is going for, rules as written is when somebody rolls to turn you on, instead of them rolling to turn you on with hot, they instead roll to shut you down with hot.
So what is hot?
Hot is
one of the
stats.
4 base stats.
Does that mean if they're hotter, they're better at like making you less interested?
No.
In this specific case,
well, yeah,
yes.
sort of.
I don't.
So can you make everyone ace?
No.
well,
okay, you could make an entire
I'm sure
ace
if you
party.
could, Jackie would try.
That would be
I haven't tried
a
in my
weird
current party.
vibe. If you played a Monster Hearts campaign
Is this-
where all the characters were ace.
Just a result of difficulty in being able to convey asexuality within a game due to the complexity of asexuality compared to other sexual orientations. Because asexuality, by its very nature, is sort of more complicated, and oftentimes if you focus on other game rules or other mechanics, it could come across less as an asexual character and more as a character who just isn't really interested in a relationship. So those two terms who does still experience sexual attraction, just isn't in interested in a relationship.
Right, and well, that's kind of the thing, right? Is that in obviously in reality that like that's that whole situation is like a spectrum, and lots of sort of intermediate like states of being can exist, and the with regards to other sexual orientations, the rules have other issues with regards to other sexual orientations. They like sort of de facto everyone ends up being pan, because
you're meant to. I believe right in the asexuality rules they say that sexuality in Monster Hearts is meant to be fluid.
Yeah,
and this is also to enable your party to just have relationships which way without having restrictions.
Yeah,
to add to the whole idea of Monster Hearts is meant to be about exploring teen relationships, teen angst, teen drama. Let's not have any barriers to that.
Yeah, and also like to be about the process of like
I think I need to stretch my legs. I'll be back.
Very well.
I'll take over.
I've been sitting here for too long.
Because you were talking about how asexuality
you get to
can't
reroll here,
necessarily change throughout the game compared to other sexualities.
That was Lewis.
But
yes.
My issue with that is how can you convey asexuality in a way that doesn't...
I'm so sorry.
...sort of include that within the game rules. Like, it's... I understand the complaints, but how can you actually represent it through game rules? I don't see any feasible way of doing so.
It is a tricky design problem, to be sure. It is made trickier by the like sort of earlier decisions, like in the design of Monster Hearts, if that makes sense. Because, like, as I mentioned before when we were discussing this earlier, a big like intentional thing in Monster Hearts is of the way that the move to turn someone on works is that there are no restrictions as to who you use it on, and like, if you make that roll and you succeed, the other person is turned on, like both male characters, and that person thought they were straight. Guess what? They're not. Like, they're attracted to you anyway. Like, and this like, not like being uncertain of like yourself and like kind of discover like not being fully in control of your sexuality and the discomfort there potentially is very much like a part of it, and sort of because of that earlier design decision to have the move work in that way, it
and I do think that is probably maybe the best way as well. Like, you wouldn't want a Monster Hearts game that's like, okay, here are the people that I can turn on, here are the people I can't turn on.
That'd be a lot worse at doing the thing that it's trying to do.
Because the goal here is everyone is trying to make a fun little story where you're exploring these relationships. And I think Angus does have a good point of...
Yeah, it's tricky, absolutely. Like,
I do really want to quickly bounce back to rules as written. I believe the intention is to sort of give the feeling of, okay, I am ace, somebody has just tried to make a move on me, it feels like I am being reminded that
that experience is like othering to me, right? And and having othering experiences as a teenager in a teenage drama simulator game is bad.
It's gonna make
it's
me
difficult.
It makes me feel like I've been shut down and shut out of this social circle.
Which does sort of make sense.
Which makes sense. I get what they were going for. If I assume that's what they're going for, I think I prefer my interpretation of the rules.
I do think yours is interesting. The problem with it is that it arguably just makes asexuality objectively really good.
It
like
is.
really powerful.
I'm sorry, Lewis, that's just like real life.
No, and maybe that's realistic, but like the point of Monster Hearts is not to be realistic, it is to be a fun and interesting game.
You're telling me Monster Hearts isn't real? This sucks.
Yeah, I'm not actually a Selkie.
I mean, that's what you'd say.
No, Lewis doesn't have my pelt.
No, of course not.
Lewis
Alistair has your pelt. Why else would you be dating him?
He did take my pelt. No, did he?
I'm sorry, that was rude. In the game, no.
Okay.
Adeline still has your pelt.
But going back to Angus's point, I think Angus does really have a point there, and I'm trying to think of the words here. When you are, of course, like in real life, your sexuality isn't a choice made by you at any point. It is how you are and your understanding of it. More than your actual sexuality fluctuates, your understanding of your sexuality fluctuates, and you understand it better and better. When you are growing up, and like imagine you are in high school, you don't know your ace yet, you might not even know the term. When somebody in this scenario rolls to turn you on, it just wouldn't work. You as a character wouldn't be like, yep, it is time to be shut down instead of turned on. It would be you as the world going, okay, this person does not have this effect happen.
That's part of why because there's all these different ways that it, if we try to imagine the thing that is sort of being simulated by these rules here, right? It's like an allosexual person, like, coming onto an asexual person, and, like, how does that situation go, right? And the rules have that go in one very specific way, and we might reasonably imagine it going, like, any one of, certainly several ways. Yes, please continue, Angus.
Then the issue becomes why the rules are trying to force a certain method of asexuality onto the player rather than... Because you to some degree, get to choose your sexuality. Choose asexuality at some point, I believe. I'm not necessarily sure.
You're saying the player gets to make the choice about the... Yeah.
Not in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
I should have probably clarified that. That's my fault entirely. So, the player is making the choice to use this sexuality in game. Mm-hmm. So, surely it would make more sense from a gameplay perspective to be able to flesh that out and flesh out their character's reaction to it through roleplay rather than a game mechanic in particular, no?
It is... Roleplay is always good, but it is nice to have it also backed up via... Oh my god, beanbag noises, sorry.
Okay.
It is also nice to have it backed up in game mechanics as well, is my opinion.
Yes, you have run up against... one of my deeply held philosophical beliefs.
Seem to have a few of those.
I don't know. It sounds fake.
Who has beliefs these days?
Only me, because of the amount of Burning Wheel I play.
It's like I found that funny.
I'm sorry, John.
It's like when you play D&D enough that you finally get a personality trait.
A D&D enjoyer? What's
that was so like
that wasn't supposed to be a roast.
That was such a harsh roast, and I don't even really think it holds up to scrutiny as a joke.
Oh my god.
Well, I was like, I wonder what other, you played so much Burning Wheel that you got like beliefs, and I'm like, haha, that's funny. You've played an RPG so much that the mechanics are now a part of you. Mm-hmm, and I'm like, what other, like, how could I apply that to another RPG? I think that'd be funny. And my first thought went like D&D 5e, and then you have like, personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws and stuff.
Right.
Wait,
so I was saying like, eventually you can get a personality trait.
I've got the way to link it back.
So it wasn't like a roast as much as it was trying to be more a joke. I wasn't trying to say people don't have personality traits. I'm saying you could like...
if you play Monster Hearts enough, you get to have sex.
No, I'm not going to say that.
If you play Monster Hearts enough, you become Pan.
I was gonna yes and Jackie, but no.
And yet you just did it. Asexuality rules.
I had a thing that was more specific. Yeah, I wanted to respond to the thing that Angus said most recently, but my memory
Forcing
of it,
you into
my memory of what it was grows vaguer with every passing
shouldn't
second.
We, instead of setting rules on how they react, shouldn't that really be up to the player as a RPG?
Yes. So this is one of the central sort of issues of RPG design. And I think a common like. I am trying to not make assumptions about your background in RPGs in formulating my response.
Well, why don't you ask what the background is?
That I just did in an extremely clumsy and unclear way.
What RPGs have you played, Angus?
Yes.
I've played a bit of Call of Cthulhu, bit of Lancer, bit of D&D. I have not played the game we are currently talking about.
That is
it's okay.
unsurprising. It is a
Lancer,
fairly
love
weird
Lancer,
niche game.
Love you, Lancer.
It's
also the RPG Lancer.
I'd like to inform everyone that I just lost the game.
Okay.
Relationships are not really something I actively seek out when deciding RPG
yes,
games.
That is a common perspective and a deeply valid one. However, Monster Hearts is a game for people for whom this is the primary goal.
I'm glad we're all on a page.
Indeed. Fuck, I should have memorized the page that the asexuality rules are on, because then I could have said it and that would have been funny. John, edit this so that I make a funny joke.
Okay, send me a voice clip of you saying...
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, Lewis, you're such a failure for not having memorized whatever single...
I've got... Hang on, it's right here. We're all on... Fuck, why is it there? We're all on page 49 of the Monster Hearts 2 core rulebook.
It was 49. My brain said 69, but no, I was 20 off.
No, alas.
Alas, imagine.
Yes, I don't know. I think that's a fairly common perspective. That there is this common sort of line that is drawn sort of conceptually between kind of the mechanics aspect of role-playing games on one side and the role-playing story character aspect on the other. And I'm not saying that you're I don't know, fully committing to that binary, but I think this is a fairly widespread attitude that ultimately comes from the history of RPG design philosophy, and also just the fact that it comes from wargaming and so on and so forth, and that for a very long time RPGs didn't really have mechanics for mediating these kinds of things. They overwhelmingly had mechanics about combat is the classic one, and just more generally for resolving disputes of the we're doing a collaborative imagination game, how do we stop the problem where the two kids are no, but I beat you with my thing that is more powerful than your thing, and they arbitrarily
it's back and gone
the sleep deprivation's getting I'm feeling it more as we go on. So apologies for being even more rambly than I always am.
Never change, Lewis.
I couldn't possibly, no matter how much I wanted to. Basically, I think that it is bad systems for facilitating something are bad. Wow, I'm good
revolutionary
at
idea there.
Good words.
But basically,
bad things are bad.
and it is much easier. It is much easier to create a bad thing than it is to create a good thing, right? A good, facultative RPG thing, subsystem, whatever. I think the vague outline of what I'm getting at here is slowly taking shape. But I don't think I think a sort of a very common response to that design problems like that is to just sort of say, well, let's not do that and just have it be very let's not mechanize this and just have it be roleplay, and then sort of all of these problems are resolved. But I don't know. I think that when these systems are designed well, they can be very, very effective at like supporting and underlying and encouraging like specific, interesting like ways of exploring that in ways that are they make doing that in an interesting and compelling way sort of more natural and more intuitive.
Are you saying
and encourage them?
While I agree with that slightly, I think the issue comes specifically in this conversation. Due to the complexity of asexuality and sexuality as a whole, to be able to encompass that fully, the whole point of rules in an RPG is not to set boundaries. It's to, in my opinion, it should be to help players explore their creativity in ways that are beneficial for everyone at the table. So when I see a rule that... I see two options. Either we encompass some parts of sexuality, which the game is currently trying to do, in a way that is simple and easy to understand for players. Or two, you create due to the complexity of sexuality, to be able to create a rule set that properly explains it and properly understands it, you would need to add such complexity that it becomes overly sort of unintuitable for players, that it becomes that the rules themselves become so complex that they don't actually end up serving the goal of allowing freedom. They only serve to cause frustration and limitation. And thus I believe in an area that is so complex by nature, it is more efficient to let players who are also complex decide for themselves how their characters should act and give them agency, especially when it's something so deeply core in their character. Like this to me seems like something the player should have input in and control over their reaction to these events.
I want to let y'all know we don't have much time left in this podcast, so if you want to be a little succinct on this, and then we can do some closing thoughts.
I'll do my best, it's fine. I suppose. So I sort of I would take issue with the sort of the characterization of like sort of creative, kind of creative freedom on the one hand and like creative constraints as like as like creative, complete creative freedom, like sort of encourage, like helping the like interesting role play elements here necessarily. I think that limitations and like taking away agency from players over their characters within specific domains in specific situations. I think that's often extremely fruitful for like interesting like sort of interesting drama and like interesting ways to explore certain issues. I really want to bring up Sagas of the Icelanders, but we definitely don't have time, so I'm not going to. As you we've been talking about asexuality specifically, but if you want to interject, please do so.
While I agree with like your broad position, I believe that these limitations that you seek to like project, while they often do influence creativity, they also cause the same problems that we are seeing now. The problems with asexuality within the game that we've been talking about are a result of game developers trying to restrict it in a way that adds flavor to it and adds uniqueness. But that has caused limitations in how the player can actually react and limits creative freedom actually then expressing it. I think we're more so talking past each other.
That's fair.
I think... Yeah, Jackie, what are you going to say?
Oh, I was going to just say that I think with the way that asexuality, especially with the opening paragraph in the rules book is written, I believe it is less a way to restrict players and more a way to be involving. like the way they've written it as well is very like asexuality experiences are very varied and like diverse, and this is not going to be where we've tried our very best. And I think, like, as someone who is ace and has been identifying for ace as ace for a decade, so I know a thing or two. I think they did a pretty good job, even though I misinterpreted the rule to be better than I thought it was.
Okay. It's 8:32 a.m. and Charity Vigil officially ends at 9, and we've got some packing up to do and stuff. So I'd like to end it here. However, I'd like everyone to give, who was on the podcast, which is everyone in this room except Thalia right now, unless you want to pay $5 to say like one, and to give like 5-10 seconds of like thoughts. They say they can pay the $5.
I will pay in a second. That's right. More time to talk. Oh,
so this is final thoughts. We'll all give our final message.
My thoughts are, games can be good sometimes, but also remember that they are games and there are restrictions on them. There are rules, but you can use the games as a medium to be creative and express yourself, while understanding that there are rules in place because of the structure of helping a game flow. Anyway. Happy Ace Pride, yippee!
Yippee!
Okay, let's do this in clockwise order. James, you're next.
I didn't get to talk about feudalism, and I'm sad.
You were given multiple opportunities, James.
I'm sorry. My final thoughts are to wish a few happy birthdays. I'd like to wish happy birthday to myself tomorrow, and also happy birthday to the to Juice, which launched yesterday, I think. Yesterday for us. Juice being the Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer. One of my favorite characters from webcomic, in quotation marks, 1776. We love Juice. Patrick's asleep. Angus.
Thank you for having me on today.
Thank you for being on the podcast.
I was just nearby and decided to pop in, so
it's good.
Thanks, guys.
Gary.
Really wanted to talk more about Elder Scrolls, but that's only because that's all I know, and Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear. And so Nidhogg now. 2-time champion, back-to-back.
2-time?
Charity.
Close enough.
We call him the 2-time.
Anyway.
Jackie.
Hello to my wife, who is probably not listening to this because it's 3 hours long. Guess what? Guess who discussed asexuality rules in Monster Hearts Part 2?
Lewis.
No, Ash! You forgot Ash!
No, I was saying Lewis discussed it.
Oh, okay.
And also Angus.
It's true, I did discuss it.
Yeah, Ash.
Me and Lewis can discuss this further later.
I think
I
it's
do
interesting.
not doubt that for a second. Wise words of wisdom. I am very EP.
What? Okay. Okay.
This is probably the second best charity event I've been to in, I don't know, like the last half a year. Second only to Uncharity.
How many charity events have you been to in the last half a year?
2.
Cool. Lewis.
I mean, surely Uncharity definitionally isn't a charity event. Just give.
We need charities. Actually, I think one thing.
Name.
Sorry, Lewis. Give your final thoughts.
I have a lot of deeply held opinions about tabletop RPGs, which I am willing to die defending.
I love that for you. What charity are we supporting? Freedom Center? Thalia says Freedom Center. Thank you. I was trying to... Someone asked me earlier, and I couldn't actually say it. I couldn't find it on any of the announcements. So Freedom Center.
Fake fan of charities.
Yeah, we've made like quite a bit of money during this podcast. Like probably at least... What? Probably at least like almost $100. Good job, guys. Thanks for listening, everyone. It is 8:35 a.m. and we are ending the ChariCast for 2023.